Family cultivation. My mobile phone traveled through time. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 151, Fertility Issues. After talking about the family's finances, let's talk about the family's talent problem. The elder said, in the past 10 years, the Liu family has encountered a problem of a lack of successors. The family now has 532 cultivators, but there are 352 people with 5 spiritual roots, 70 people with 4 spiritual roots, and 10 people with 3 spiritual roots. Among these 3 spiritual roots cultivators, 3 are key training cultivators, 6 are foundation building cultivators, and the remaining 1 is a purple mansion cultivator. Overall, the number of cultivators is decreasing, the number of 5 spiritual roots is increasing, the number of 4 spiritual roots is decreasing, and the number of 3 spiritual roots cultivators is decreasing. The family is facing a problem of a lack of successors. Here is a table and list of family members, as well as the resources consumed. Take a closer look. The word seemed dry and lacked some persuasiveness. The elder took out a booklet and handed it over. It contained detailed information about the family members, the resources consumed, various comparisons, and so on. Xuanji took the booklet and flipped through it carefully. He didn't care much at first, but gradually his expression became a little serious. The problem was a bit serious. Compared with the large fiscal expenditure, fiscal deficit, and insufficient population, this is a big problem. In the world of cultivation, why can't the human race beat the demon race? It's because the birth rate is not as high as that of the demon race. At the starting line, humans lost to the demon race. In the world of cultivation, many cultivators are busy with cultivation and the pursuit of immortality. They are indifferent to love between men and women. Many cultivators often marry late or even don't marry. Many Chindan ancestors and Yuanying Zhenjin are often obsessed with the Tao and immortality. They are extremely alienated from love between men and women, and even regarded as a flood and a beast, as a fetter on the road in karma, and stay away from it. They often have no wives and concubines, no Taoist partners, no children and descendants. After sitting and passing away, they directly leave treasures in the barren mountains. They may be discovered one day and left to some predestined people. Even my father chose to get married when he was 120 years old and married his 20-year-old mother and later gave birth to the 3 of them. Among the 532 cultivators of the Liu family, 470 were over 30 years old. Among these 470 people, 2/3 are unmarried, and there are less than 100 married cultivators. Among the 100 people, less than half have children. Many key refining cultivators choose their Taoist partners after the age of 60. Many foundation building cultivators choose their Taoist partners after the age of 120. If they can't find a suitable one, they will just live alone. The fertility rate of family cultivators has dropped to the warning line due to late marriage or no marriage. What do you think we should do, Great Elder? Xuanji looked at the booklet and frowned slightly. There is no way. The Great Elder said, how about locking a man and a woman together and giving them aphrodisiacs? It's more efficient. Xuanji was speechless. It was a bad idea, not reliable at all. Xuanji said, why not encourage childbirth? Those who are willing to become Taoist partners and have children will be given spiritual stones and elixirs every year. It's a good idea. The elder nodded and said, how much subsidy should be given? If too much money is given, the family finances cannot afford it, but if the subsidy is too little, it will not be able to play an encouraging role. No one is a fool. Or, let's learn from the Yi family and force marriage. They must be forced to marry at a certain age. Xuanji frowned and said, if the cow doesn't drink water, then force it to do it. Forced marriage is okay, but they don't want to get married, and forcing them is useless in many cases. The elder said, many Taoist couples in the Yi family still live their own lives after marriage. Do we have to go and listen to their rooms, or give them medicine? Forced marriage is unreliable, it's better to give them medicine. Xuanji thought of several ideas in succession, but the result was still a temporary solution. In fact, even the symptoms could not be cured. The elder said, the low fertility rate of human cultivators is a big problem that has troubled the human race. Human cultivators present the form of innate Tao body, are naturally close to the Tao, fit the Tao, and have outstanding comprehension. Many demon cultivators want to buy the transformation pill and transform into human form. It is because their human form fits the great Dao, is close to the great Dao, and can comprehend the Dao quickly. Relying on the fast enlightenment speed and close to the great Dao, the human cultivators do not have special blood, strong talents, or super physiques, but each generation can produce top-level masters who can compete with the demons. Some people even say that there was no concept of the demon race in the world. But because the human race is too strong, the 10,000 races have to unite to fight against it, thus forming the demon race. If the problem of the human race's fertility rate is solved, the demon race would have been defeated long ago. Xuanji said, Patriarch, what do you say about how to increase the fertility rate of the family? I have no way. Xuanji, let's not talk about others first, let's talk about you first. The elder suddenly thought of something. As the patriarch, shouldn't you lead by example? Ahem. Xuanji nodded and said, please speak, elder. The great elder said, Yi Linglong, I've learned that she is the favored daughter of the Yi family. They chose you as their Taoist partner because you can help them on the road to immortality. As for how deep your feelings are, how inseparable you are, and how loving you are, I can only say that you are overthinking it. Am I right? The great elder is right. Xuanji said. Yi Linglong said that she will become your Taoist partner when you become a purple mansion cultivator. You are now at the 6th level of foundation building. It will take at least 30 years to reach the 9th level of foundation building, and another 20 years to become a purple mansion cultivator. Am I right? The great elder calculated. Almost. Xuanji calculated the time and nodded. It will take another 50 years to become a purple mansion cultivator. On the road of cultivation, it takes a certain amount of time to digest these resources and transform them into strength. Even with these sufficient resources, it will take at least 50 years to become a purple mansion. This is a very conservative time. If something unexpected happens in the middle, 60 or 70 years is also normal. Yi Linglong can't be counted on. Why don't you take in a few concubines now? The elder said, my requirements are not high. I just need you to take in 10 concubines, each of whom has a child. It won't take you much time, at most 3 years. Now the candidates are already there. I have a list here. Ahem. Xuanji said speechlessly, don't be silly, elder. Xuanji, as the patriarch, the most taboo is double standards, and you should be both a show and a stand. The elder said with a smile, you can even say the words of forced marriage just now, otherwise I'll give you a medicine tonight. Send those women who like you to your room. 3 months later, your belly will definitely be big, and you will definitely give birth to a son. As the clan leader, you should lead by example. Xuanji was speechless. After going around in circles for a long time, he ended up getting himself into trouble. Chapter 152, The Gap. Ahem. Xuanji coughed and said, Grand Elder, let's talk about other things. The Grand Elder nodded and just touched on this issue. He stopped talking and said, practice requires spiritual roots. The probability of mortal being born with spiritual roots is 1 in 1,000, and the probability of a cultivator's offspring being born with spiritual roots is 1 in 10. In addition, the higher the cultivation level of the parents, the higher the probability of their son being born with spiritual roots, and the higher the quality of the spiritual roots. The birth of spiritual roots is uncertain. Now there are more than 500 cultivators in the Lu family, but only 10 of them have 3 spiritual roots, and you are one of them. This situation is not good. The Lu family is a bit short of successors and talents. Xuanji flipped through the booklet and frowned slightly. The problem was a bit big. The birth of spiritual roots is uncertain. Back then, the parents, one was a foundation building cultivator and the other was a key cultivating cultivator. They gave birth to 3 children, one of whom was immortal, one had 5 spiritual roots, and one had 3 spiritual roots. Similarly, Yi Fixu's parents were just mortals, but Yi Fixu had a natural spiritual root. Spiritual roots are random, accidental, and uncertain. It depends on whether you are a European emperor or an unlucky person. But in recent years, the Lu family has been unlucky. The number of children with spiritual roots born after testing has been decreasing. In the past 30 years, only 3 children with 3 spiritual roots have been detected. The Lu family is unlucky and seems to have entered a state of being unlucky. Many Jindan families and Yuanying families have declined because of the lack of talent. Grand Elder, what can you do about the lack of talent and the lack of talent in the Lu family? Lu Xuanji asked. The Great Elder said, there are only 2 ways. One is to encourage family monks to have children, and the other is to accept monks from other families, especially independent cultivators, and integrate them into the family. Let's skip the first one and talk about the second question. Accepting external cultivators can strengthen the family monks. Over the years, the Lu family has successively accepted 7 independent cultivators who have established their foundation and become guests of the family. Some of them chose to marry into the Lu family, and some chose to marry Lu family women, which is considered to be their home in the Lu family. But the corresponding problem has also arisen: how to accommodate them. First of all, how are these guests treated? If the treatment is too high, the family monks will be dissatisfied, and the family monks will say, how can we let external cultivators ride on our heads? But if the treatment is too low, it will cause the external cultivators to be alienated. Secondly, how should the power of these guests be distributed? Should we open up channels to let them control the power of the family and treat them as our own, or should we suppress them directly, prohibit them from occupying high positions in the family, and use them as cannon fodder? Finally, there is not much conflict between the family monks and foreign guests now. The main reason is that the Lu family is developing rapidly. But once it stagnates, or there is an invasion by foreign enemies, the conflict will intensify and expand. You need to deal with all these without hiding anything, he directly said. Another big problem brought about by the Lu family's lack of successors. The Lu family is a family of immortal cultivators, and the monks are mainly surnamed Lu. But every year, a large number of monks from other families are also accepted and recruited as guests. The sea accommodates all rivers, and tolerance is great. As for the closed management that refuses to accept monks from other families, it is neither feasible nor realistic. But after monks from other families join the Lu family, they will inevitably have conflicts with the monks of the Lu family. Some immortal cultivation families directly use foreign monks as cannon fodder, and various welfare benefits are also reduced, leading to internal disunity, and finally to destruction. Some immortal cultivation families, foreign monks take the opportunity to expand, clean up the family monks, and occupy high positions. Grand Elder, what do you think? Lu Xuanji asked. An old man in the family is like a treasure. When you are undecided, ask the Grand Elder. The Great Elder said, when the family cultivators and the outside cultivators are in a mess, there are 3 choices. One is to split up directly, separate them, and live separately. One is to directly have a civil war and fight to determine the winner. The other is to transform the family cultivation into a sect cultivation. It is said that 5,000 years ago, there was no Danliang sect. At that time, there was only the Yi family in the 12 counties. The Yi family is powerful, and under it there are 7 or 8 affiliated families such as the Khan family, the Sun family, the Zhao family, etc. If the Yi family had always been strong, these affiliated families would naturally be obedient. But as the Yi family lacks successors and talents, it was gradually overtaken by the 8 affiliated families. Because of the imbalance of power, conflicts continued among them. At that time, the Yi family had declined, but there was still a strong man who was half a step into the nascent soul stage. There were cultivators from the Yi family who asked this ancestor to take action, kill the Jindan cultivators from other families, suppress the universe, and restore the dignity of the Yi family. But the ancestor of the Yi family chose to give up, and directly ended the Yi family. He joined forces with the Jindan ancestors of several other families, to establish the Danliang school. Now, the Danliang school has gradually become an alliance of the 7 major immortal cultivation families. Xuanji, what did you learn from this story? Lu Xuanji pondered. The clan leader said that, if the family is in a world of transition, we must have the courage to give up. Yes, that's the truth. The great elder said, when we educate the younger generation of the family, we often remind the younger generation to revitalize the family, fight for the family, and strive for the family. But you are the clan leader now, and I'm the great elder. Let's not say those empty words, clichés, and nonsense. Just tell the truth. When a family cultivates immortality, it inherently helps relatives rather than others. When the family is weak, such a concept can unite the clan members. However, if the family grows to a certain extent, and still helps relatives rather than others, then it is unreasonable, arrogant and domineering, and it will seek its own destruction. If the family can help you, then keep the family. If the family becomes a burden to you, then abandon the burden and the baggage. Xuanji asked, all original sins are caused by the lack of successors. Is there no way to improve the level of children's spiritual roots? Yes, there are many ways. The ancestor smiled and said, I know several ways. I won't say much about the others. I will just tell you one way. There is a spiritual fruit called the fruit of fortune. Taking the fruit of fortune can improve the probability and level of spiritual roots. A first grade fortune fruit has a 1000th chance of awakening spiritual roots. A second grade fortune fruit has a 100th chance of awakening spiritual roots. A third grade fortune fruit has a 1/10th chance of awakening spiritual roots. A fourth grade fortune fruit will definitely awaken spiritual roots. And the worst awakened spiritual roots are 3. Spiritual roots. If you take a 5th grade fortune fruit, there is a 5-level chance of awakening 3 spiritual roots, or 3-level chance of awakening 2 spiritual roots or different spiritual roots, and a 1-level chance of awakening heavenly spiritual roots. A 1st grade fortune fruit is cheap, and only requires 1 spiritual stone, but the higher the grade, the higher the price of the fortune fruit. You are a spiritual plant master, so you can try to cultivate a fortune fruit tree. Chapter 153, Creation Fruit Tree. In the cave, tea was flowing. The elder was drinking enlightenment tea, while talking about the family's problems. The fiscal expenditure was large and the fiscal deficit was low. The population was insufficient and the birth rate was declining. The number of children with spiritual roots was decreasing, and there was a shortage of children. The conflicts between the Lu family monks and the foreign guests emerged one by one, and they were all problems that he, the patriarch, needed to solve. Fortunately, these problems are not serious now, or the Lu family is developing at a high speed, covering up these conflicts. Xuanji listened and asked, the Lu family is developing in an orderly manner and full of vitality, even more prosperous than when the ancestor Lu Fuming was young. There are 2 reasons for this situation. One is because of the appreciation of the ancestor Jin, and the other is the marriage with the Yi family. In this process, Xuanji's connections are very important. What is a connection? Connections are not how many people I know, but how many people need me, and how many people value me. At the beginning, because of the ancestor Jin's appreciation, everyone looked up to him. When the Yi family and the Lu family married, they chose him first. But it was just attention, and the marriage partner was mainly the 3 spirits. But when he won the 3 levels, he overwhelmed many geniuses, exposed the 3rd grade spiritual plant master, and killed the demon clan genius in the beast side. The degree of attention, rising again and again, was valued more and more by Jin Liaozu and the Yi family. Under this kind of attention, Xuanji was promoted from a potential stock to a high performance stock. Many people subconsciously invested and supported the Lu family, and the Lu family also entered a stage of rapid development. Is this the good fortune fruit? A few days later, there was a gift on the table. In a box, there were 10 good fortune fruits. 10 good fortune fruits. The price is only 10 spirit stones. The price is very cheap. Cheap because it is only the 1st grade. If the good fortune fruit reaches the 5th grade, the price is 10 million spirit stones. Even the nascent soul cultivators are tempted. At that level, 10 million spirit stones can't buy it at all. Those nascent soul masters don't lack spirit stones. They need to barter, exchanging items of the same type. Click, click. Xuanji began to gnaw on the fruit of fortune, eating the flesh, and tasting the flavor. A trace of the power of fortune began to penetrate into his body, improving his physical potential, but the improvement was too limited. Only the 2nd grade fruit of fortune could be useful to him. But the price was at least several hundred spirit stones. The cultivators are evolving step by step, and the spiritual plants are also evolving step by step. Closing his eyes and feeling the trace of the power of fortune, Xuanji sighed slightly. Key training cultivators are human beings, and Yuanian cultivators are also human beings. The two are essentially similar, but because of their different cultivation levels, the difference between the two is as huge as that between a snake and a dragon. The first grade fruit of fortune and the fifth grade fruit of fortune are essentially similar, and are all fruit of fortune, but because of their different levels, the difference between them is like that between a key training cultivator and a Yuanian cultivator, and the difference is immeasurable. After eating the fruit of fortune, a box of fruit cores appeared in his palm, which he threw directly into the flower pot, and planted with spiritual soil. Using the spring breeze wood spirit technique, a stream of wood-related spiritual energy entered the fruit, and the core of the fruit split at a speed visible to the naked eye, growing a small tender leaf. The small tender leaf was growing, and after half a day, it turned into a 1-foot tall sapling. In this way, it ripened 1 inch a day. After half a year, a 9-foot 9-inch tall fortune fruit tree stood in the cave. At this height, the fruit tree has stopped growing. There are fine textures on the bark, like natural runes. There are faint golden leaf patterns on the green leaves, which look sacred and noble. The fruit tree forked, and had 9 branches. On each branch, there were 3 fortune fruits. There were a total of 27 fortune fruits, and the grade was first grade. First grade fortune fruit tree, it's done. Xuanji sighed in his heart. All things have a lifespan, and spiritual plants also have a lifespan. People in the world have an illusion that the lifespan of spiritual plants is endless, as if they are immortal. In fact, spiritual plants also have a lifespan, but it is 10 times or even 100 times longer than that of human cultivators and demon cultivators of the same realm. The first grade spiritual plant has a lifespan of 100 years, the second grade spiritual plant has a lifespan of 1,000 years, the third grade spiritual plant has a lifespan of 10,000 years, the fourth grade spiritual plant has a lifespan of 30,000 years, and the fifth grade spiritual plant has a lifespan of 50,000 years. The fifth grade spiritual plant corresponds to the human Yuanying. The lifespan of the human Yuanying is only 2,000 years. But the lifespan of the 5th grade spiritual plant is 50,000 years, which is 25 times longer than that of humans. Spiritual plant masters can not only grow spiritual rice and ripen spiritual medicines, but also cultivate spiritual plants and improve the level of spiritual intelligence. Once a 5th grade spiritual plant master spent 1,000 years cultivating a 5-element fruit tree, which became the treasure of a family. Of course, there are too many uncertainties and too many possibilities of failure in this process. A 5th grade spiritual plant master can be considered extremely lucky if he can cultivate a 5th grade spiritual plant in his lifetime. In the opinion of the great elder, if I can cultivate a 3rd grade fortune fruit tree, it will be enough to bring great benefits to the Lu family. The function of the fortune fruit is not only to awaken the spiritual roots and improve the quality of the spiritual roots, but also has many wonderful uses. At a low grade, it is not obvious, but at a high grade, it is extremely useful. Xuanji observed the fortune fruit tree and thought in his heart, calculating various expenses and upgrade plans. It needs to be planted in spiritual soil, fertilized every day, and the soil needs to be loosened regularly. It also needs to be watered with heavenly spiritual water. The water cannot be too much, otherwise the roots will rot, and it cannot be too little, otherwise it will be stunted. Pests need to be cleaned regularly, and branches and leaves need to be repaired. Xuanji felt like taking care of his ancestors, and he needed to take care of them carefully. Once he did not take care of them properly, the spiritual plants might shrink, reduce production, delay development, or even die. It will take about 200 years to upgrade to a 3rd grade spiritual plant. Xuanji calculated and roughly concluded. Destiny deduction. In the destiny deduction, it only takes 100 years to be promoted to a 3rd grade fortune fruit tree. Reason. In 50 years, the host will be promoted to a purple mansion cultivator. At that time, the Cheyenne Mudafa may be introduced, and it may be possible to enter the 4th grade spiritual plant master, and the time will be shortened. Reason. As the host's strength increases, some superior spiritual objects will be found to improve the level of spiritual plants. Taking a deep breath, Xuanji began to calculate the cost. If you want to upgrade the fortune fruit tree to the 3rd grade, you need to spend 1000 spiritual stones every year. If you add all kinds of expenses, it will cost at least 200,000 spiritual stones. This is a conservative data, and the cost of spiritual stones in the later period will only be more. It may take 200 years before there is output. After 1000 years, the cost will be recovered. The lifespan of a 3rd grade spiritual plant is 10,000 years. The first 1000 years are to recover the investment, and the next 1000 years are the profit period. It can be said that the cost is high, the investment cycle is long, and the long-term benefits are far, but the various invisible benefits are also great. Chapter 154, Visiting the Yi family. Time is passing, and the Lu family is developing steadily. In the beast tide, some immortal cultivation families went to destruction, leaving behind a large amount of property. The Lu family, as well as some nearby families, divided up these properties, and the family industry grew stronger. The area of the territory was expanding, and the number of mines and spiritual fields was increasing. After the commotion, the Lu family also returned to peace. It was like a well-fed beast began to lie down and digest the food. Before the food was digested, the Lu family lost the desire to attack. Not only the Lu family, but also the Yi family, the Sun family, the Qian family, and many other immortal cultivation families were also law-abiding. Like a good baby, they were licking their wounds and digesting the dividends of the war. Planting spiritual rice, cultivating spiritual medicine, raising spiritual beasts, cultivating spiritual fruits, opening shops, etc. Everything was proceeding in an orderly manner. In the blink of an eye, another 10 years had passed. In the cave, Xuanji breathed a sigh of relief. His bones creaked, and his body exuded a trace of terrifying aura, and then the aura was restrained and returned to normal. 7th level of foundation building. After 10 years of hard training, he entered the 7th level of foundation building. In fact, he could have reached this step 3 years ago. However, he subconsciously slowed down the speed of cultivation, using the pure yang true fire to forge the true essence and purify the true essence. At the same time, with the help of the pure yang true fire, he tempered the bones, muscles, meridians, internal organs, sea of consciousness, danshan, etc., tempering one circle after another. The purity of the true essence was increasing. The body became purer. The strength of the body was increasing, and the essence of life was improving. For the first time, Xuanji experienced the power of the pure Yang Dao body. Innate Dao fetus allows cultivators to be close to the Tao, allowing them to be in a state of unity between man and nature at all times, and to be in the process of enlightenment at all times, with extremely terrifying comprehension. At the same time, it can continuously absorb the spiritual energy from the outside world and increase the speed of cultivation. It can be said to be an extremely terrifying physique. The advantage of pure Yang Dao body is that with the help of pure Yang true fire, the body and true essence can be tempered again and again, and the strength of the true essence far exceeds that of ordinary cultivators. At the same time, with the help of pure Yang true fire, the body can be tempered round after round, and the strength of the body is constantly improving. When the pure Yang true fire tempers the body, the poison in the body is almost eliminated, and the body becomes extremely pure. Xuanji feels that his confidence in entering the Purple Mansion has improved a lot. On the road of cultivation, it is almost impossible to achieve something just by swallowing and exhaling spiritual energy. In each small realm and the big realm, a large amount of elixir needs to be taken to increase the speed of cultivation and break through some bottlenecks of cultivation. Without taking drugs, it is impossible to cultivate immortals. Every cultivator is a medicine jar, and they all swallow a lot of elixirs. But if there are too many elixirs to swallow, the poison will penetrate into the bone marrow and into all parts of the body, which will not only affect the body and increase the difficulty of breaking through the big bottleneck. At the same time, these poisons will also affect the potential of the cultivator and destroy the potential in the future. This is almost a rebuttal. If you don't take drugs, you can't become stronger, but taking too many drugs will affect your improvement. Before building the foundation, Xuanji took fewer drugs, but after building the foundation, the speed of improvement in the future, taking spiritual medicines, elixirs, etc., the body also has elixir poison precipitating and increasing. It's just that the quantity is much less than that of similar cultivators. But after experiencing the tempering of pure yang true fire, the elixir poison is expelled from the body, and the body becomes purer. This alone increases the probability of breaking through the purple mansion. Congratulations, you have entered the 7th level of foundation building. In the cave, the elder congratulated. In a trance, I'm already 125 years old. There are not many cultivators of the same generation, and there are not many familiar clansmen. Xuanji sighed. Many cultivators in the family are my descendants. They respect me more than enough, but they lack intimacy. Cultivators should learn to appreciate loneliness and enjoy solitude. The elder said, it's almost been 30 years. Your Taoist partner Yilinglang is about to come out of retreat. By then, she will become a purple mansion cultivator, and will suppress you again. It doesn't matter. At worst, let her ride on you. Xuanji smiled faintly. She is about to come out of retreat. You should go and see her. The elder said, walk around more. When you get to the Yi family, the more you walk around, the closer you will be. Continuing to retreat and practice hard is not good for your state of mind. Go out and walk around with her more. She is your Taoist partner, and will accompany you for hundreds of years in the future. Got it? Xuanji nodded. Taoist partners are more important than couples in the mortal world. Couples in the mortal world can divorce, but there is absolutely no such thing as separation between Taoist couples. It is either life or death. Take these things, the elder instructed, handing over a bag. In the bag, there are more than 30,000 spiritual stones. In recent years, the Lu family has lived a more affluent life, and there are more surplus spiritual stones. Xuanji took it, and put it into the storage bag. In the storage bag, he put Jade Emperor Ice, Jade Emperor Pills, Jade Slips, etc. Took the Bushanding, Swallowing Heavending, Li Huo Sword, etc. and the Golden Token, etc. disguised with a cloak, mixed in the crowd, and left quietly. Before leaving, he subconsciously opened the 100 maps, but after walking for a while, he felt a shadow following behind. It was Longzuan. As a protector of the Tao, Longzuan was very dedicated. The 100 maps was only opened for a while, and then closed. When opening Beidou maps, his true essence and mental strength were consumed. It is impossible to keep it open all the time, and his body can't bear it. After walking for 3 days, they arrived at the gate of the Yi family. Kangshan Mountain was still ancient and profound. On the mountain, there was a terrifying formation running, which was endless, and could even kill the purple mansion. There were 2 foundation building monks guarding the gate. Xuanji arrived at the gate, and took out the token. The guard automatically let him in. Xuanji entered Kangshan Mountain, and took off his cloak after entering. So it's fellow Daoist Lu. At this time, a man in blue came over and said, you are the Lu family's Xuanji Xuanji. That's right. Xuanji said, 30 years have passed, Linglang has entered the purple mansion realm, and I came to celebrate in advance. Fellow Daoist, come over here, and sit in the living room first. The man in blue said, my name is Yi Biu, the elder in charge of guests, who is responsible for receiving guests. This is my token. He took out the token, and proved his identity. After being greeted, he sat down in the living room, served tea and spiritual fruits, and entertained him politely and attentively. Chapter 155 Fall. In the reception room, various spiritual fruits and spiritual teas were served, and they were warmly entertained. He did not eat the spiritual fruits, nor did he drink the spiritual tea. He picked up the teacup, and just touched it to his lips, but did not drink it. He was still on guard. The world of cultivation is very dangerous. The poisons extracted from some medicinal materials are fierce and overbearing, and can threaten the lives of giant and cultivators. Those poisons may be extremely hidden, and even professional alchemists may not be able to detect them. For safety, many cultivators eat spiritual medicines and spiritual fruits brought from home when they are walking outside, and drink spiritual springs, spiritual wine, spiritual tea, etc. brought from home. As for the spiritual tea and spiritual fruits provided by outsiders, they are not eaten at all. The table is filled with spiritual medicines and spiritual fruits, but Lu Xuanji does not eat them at all. Although he is the son-in-law of the Yi family, there are too many sons-in-law in the Yi family, and he is not close to the Yi family. In addition, the Yi family was constantly in dispute, and lightning struck constantly. What if someone drugged the tea to plot against him? If he was caught, he would suffer a great loss. Putting down the teacup, Lu Xuanji asked, "Where is the head of the Yi family? Where is the great elder?" Yi Biao said, "The great elder is traveling outside, and is not at home. As for the head of the family, he is in seclusion for cultivation. It may take 3 months before he comes out." Lu Xuanji nodded, showing his understanding. He asked again, "How is Li Linglang? How is she now?" Sister Linglang is not here. She is in Danliang sect, and is striving for the purple mansion realm in the Nirvana pool. It has reached a critical moment. The result will be known in 2 or 3 months at most. Yi Biao said, "Now Daoist friends have 2 choices. One is to stay at the Yi family for a while, and the other is to go to Danliang sect." "Let's go to Danliang sect." Lu Xuanji asked, "What are the rules, and what should I pay attention to when going to Danliang sect?" "There is nothing to pay attention to. You need to carry the Danliang order and register. At the gate of the mountain, a large formation is set up to detect the whereabouts of demons. Danliang sect is open." Yi Biao said, talking about some things in Danliang sect. In Danliang sect, there are levels such as menial disciples, outer disciples, inner disciples, and true disciples. First of all, if you want to join Danliang sect, you must have at least 3 spiritual roots. As for 5 spiritual roots and 4 spiritual roots, Danliang sect does not want them. After joining the Danliang sect, no matter how strong your qualifications are, or how powerful your background is, you must start as a core disciple, do chores for 3 years, do some chores, get familiar with the ways of the world, and don't ask to become more shrewd. Just don't be a fool and get cheated. After 3 years, there will be an assessment. Those outstanding disciples become outer disciples. Unqualified disciples continue to be chores. Outer disciples are assessed every 10 years. If their cultivation or combat effectiveness does not meet the standards, they will be directly eliminated, their welfare will be reduced, and they may even become chores. If you build your foundation before the age of 40, you can advance to an inner disciple. If you build your foundation after the age of 40, you can only become an outer elder. If you still cannot build your foundation after the age of 60, you will be directly deprived of your status as an inner disciple, and become a core elder, leaving the mountain gate, to manage some mortal things. Before the age of 150, you must become a purple mansion cultivator, to become a true disciple. After this age, you can only become an inner elder. Every true disciple is a golden elixir seed, and the resources of the sect will be poured into them. Compared to the slow pace of the immortal cultivation families, the immortal cultivation sects are very fast, constantly whipping them to make progress. If they are a little slower, their benefits will be downgraded, or they will be reduced to elders. Sister Linglang joined the Danliang sect at the age of 12. After 3 years of menial work, she became an outer disciple. At the age of 32, she became a foundation building cultivator and an inner disciple. At the age of 110, she reached the 9th level of foundation building. She began to polish her foundation, purify her true essence, open up her meridians, open her acupoints, and nourish her soul. At the age of 130, she passed through 4 difficulties in succession, and became a half-step purple mansion. After 5 years of cultivation, she entered the Nirvana pool, and began to pass the Skyfire difficulty and the Nightmare Wind difficulty. This time, after Sister Linglang advances to the Purple Mansion, she will become the 12th true disciple. Yi Biao was full of envy when talking about the moment of true disciples. Many Purple Mansion cultivators have exhausted their potential, and the probability of achieving Golden Core is very low. The probability of many Purple Mansion cultivators such as the Lu family's elder, the Yi family's ancestor, and the Sun family's patriarch, to achieve Golden Core may be less than 1%. The cultivator's lifespan is too short, the path of cultivation is too difficult, and the resources are too scarce. Many Purple Mansion cultivators are only at the 3rd or 4th level of Purple Mansion when they pass away, and they can't even reach the 9th level of Purple Mansion, let alone impact Golden Core. But after becoming a true disciple, with the continuous inflow of resources from the Danliang sect, most of them can reach the 9th level of Purple Mansion before their lifespan is exhausted. If they are lucky, they can even achieve Golden Core. Of course, true disciples also have a certain age limit. They must reach the 9th level of Purple Mansion before the age of 400. If they fail to meet the standard at that age, they will be deprived of their status as a true disciple and become the master of a whole or the master of a peak. As Lu Xuanji listened, the tight structure of Danliang sect was clearly visible. The selection of menial disciples, outer disciples, inner disciples, true disciples, etc. was extremely harsh, and they would rather have nothing than have unqualified ones. Menial elders, outer elders, inner elders, hall masters and peak masters, etc. were constantly eliminated, and were eliminated from the disciples. In Danliang sect, the Golden Core Patriarch has the highest status, and is a supreme elder. Next are the sect master and the true disciples. Yi Biao continued, brother-in-law, I think you should not go to Danliang sect, be careful of being beaten. There are many cultivators pursuing Sister Linglong, including Purple Mansion cultivators. Be careful of being beaten and crying when you get there. Ahem. Lu Xuanji said speechlessly, those Purple Mansion seniors, they won't make things difficult for a foundation building cultivator like me. Absolutely. Yi Biao said, brother-in-law, you are young and have good aptitude. If you enter the Purple Mansion in the future, they may not be able to beat you. It's just right to take advantage of your weakness to beat you up. As long as no one dies, it's not a big problem. Forget it, then I won't go to Danliang sect. Lu Xuanji nodded, thinking that it was better not to go. There is no shortage of geniuses in the world, and the Danliang sect has even more geniuses. His qualifications are good, and he can be considered excellent, but there are still many who are better than him. The reason why Yi Linglan liked him was mainly because of his status as a 3rd grade spiritual plant master and a 3rd grade alchemist. The more talented and the higher the cultivation of a cultivator, the greater the expenditure, and the poorer he is. Don't be fooled by Yi Linglan's glamorous appearance, with a genius personality, a stunning female cultivator personality, and a father who is a giant and cultivator, but in fact he is a poor guy. She chose Lu Xuanji, perhaps because she valued the little money in his pocket. In this way, Lu Xuanji settled down in Kangshan. At the moment of the 3rd year, Yi Liuan returned with a solemn expression. Something happened. What happened? Lu Xuanji asked. Yi Linglan failed to impact the Purple Mansion and fell. Yi Liuan said, telling an explosive news. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 156 In Front of the Grave. In the courtyard, willow trees formed a shade. It was summer, and cicadas were chirping non-stop. The lake was rippling, and the water was green. Ducks were swimming and making quacking sounds. In the courtyard, Yi Liuan told the explosive news. Lu Xuanji listened and was stunned. Impossible. How could she fail? She is a top genius. Yi Linglang is a top genius, not a pseudo-genius like him. He had a rough idea in his mind. He only had 3 spiritual roots, and his aptitude was a little better, but not too outrageous. It was not until the ancestor Lu Fuming failed to seize the body and became his nourishment. His soul strength was improving, and the attributes of his spiritual roots were improving, that he gradually gained the name of a genius. In his eyes, Yi Linglang's Purple Mansion must succeed. How could she fail? Impossible. Nothing is impossible in the world. Yi Liuan said calmly, with only the heavenly spiritual root, it is difficult to guarantee that one will become a Purple Mansion cultivator 100%. The remaining secondary spiritual roots and special spiritual roots, when impacting the Purple Mansion, only have a probability of 5 layers and 7 layers. But no matter how high the probability of success is, there is also a possibility of failure. Entering the nirvana pool can increase the probability of 3 layers and survive the catastrophe, but she still fell on the heavenly man difficulty. Impossible, she awakened. Lu Xuanji said in disbelief, because Yi Linglang awakened a special physique. In the Shuai cave heaven, there are a lot of notes and essays, some of which describe special physiques. In a miscellaneous note, a special physique, 7 orifice Taoist body, is described. 7 orifice Taoist body, the body has 7 orifices, and can open up 7 danshan. This physique has a huge advantage in the early stage in strong manner. When advancing to a great realm, the difficulty is relatively low, especially when impacting the golden core and forging the nascent soul. There is a certain physique bonus. As for the disadvantage, it is that it is constantly offset after the nascent soul. Nothing is impossible. Life is full of accidents. Yi Liuan said, even if there is a 99% chance of success, there is still a chance of failure. Let's go. I'll take you to see her off. Yi Liuan said. He urged the flying sword, stretched out his hand to grab Lu Xuanji, and fled into the distance. He was once her fiancé, but now that Yi Linglang has fallen, it's time to go to the last level. The speed of the Purple Mansion cultivators is very fast. It only takes half a day to reach the destination from here to Danliang sect. Instead of going to Danliang sect, they went directly to the back mountain. Here, there are graves one after another. There is a newly erected grave here. On the tombstone, it is written, "Tomb of my beloved daughter Yi Linglang." In front of the grave, stood a middle-aged man with a handsome face, wearing a white Taoist robe, with a trace of white hair on his cheeks. "Greetings, Elder Yi." Yi Liuan said respectfully, and introduced. This man is Linglang's fiancé, the Lu family's genius, named Xuanji. "You go aside for now," said the middle-aged man. "Yes." Yi Liuan said respectfully, and disappeared into the distance. But before leaving, some news came from his mind. The middle-aged man was the Yi family's Jinden master, named Yi Xuanji. His cultivation level is unknown, his strength is unknown, his magical powers are unknown, and he is over 700 years old. 700 years old. Many people have died. This Jinden ancestor has 30 children, 3 of whom have entered the half-step Jinden. 5 have entered the Purple Mansion, 12 have entered the Foundation, and 5 have died in the calamity, and 5 have exhausted their lifespans and passed away. "Greetings, senior," Lu Xuanji said respectfully. "Not bad, not bad, you are really good," Yi Xuanji said. "When I first heard your name, Fairy Jinxie thought highly of you, and said you had the aptitude for a golden elixir. I just nodded and said yes. When I was informed at the matchmaking meeting of the Yi family, I agreed and asked Linglang to go and have a look. I didn't expect that you two would fall in love with each other and become Taoist couples. You are both fairies, and you are favored by them," Lu Xuanji said. "That is also her good fortune," Yi Xuanji said. "It's a pity that you are not destined to be together. She fell in the calamity, and you can't become Taoist couples. Alas." Lu Xuanji sighed, and Suming couldn't say anything. It seemed that he could only sigh, and the rest of the words were redundant. Yi Xuanji said, "Xuanji, the dead are gone, and the living have to live on. What are your plans for the future? Ideas?" Lu Xuanji pondered. "Linglang and I just met at a blind date conference, and got along for a while. This time, I plan to walk with her, walk around outside, and deepen our feelings for each other. But now it's good. Linglang has passed away. I plan to walk around nearby, relax, and then go home." Yi Xuanji said, "We have some talented women in the Yi family who are suitable to be your Taoist partners, such as Yi Wanai and Yi Chenaiu, and some other Purple Mansion female cultivators can also be introduced to you. If you get along almost well, you can become Taoist partners. If not, then change to another one." "Ahem, senior, this is not good." Lu Xuanji frowned and said, "Linglang just passed away not long ago, and I'm looking for a woman outside. This is too scumbag." "Scumbag? No, people have to face reality," Yi Xuanji said. "I'm not asking you to be affectionate with some women right now, but you have to face reality. Love makes people forget time, but time makes people forget love. The only way to forget the pain of love is to start a new love. You, Kit, say you don't care, but you are more concerned than anyone else, and can't let go than anyone else. "Senior, let me stay here alone for a while," Lu Xuanji said. "Think more positively," Yi Zuan said. His figure flashed and disappeared. In front of the tomb, only Lu Xuanji was left. Sitting casually in front of the tomb, Lu Xuanji took out the wine jar and 2 wine bowls, and filled one for each person. He took a bowl for a short time, and poured it directly in front of the tomb. He drank another bowl of wine. The wine entered his heart, and turned into tears of love sickness. "It's a pity that we are still not destined to be together. Life is impermanent," Lu Xuanji said, his eyes slightly flushed. After staying in front of the tomb for a while, Lu Xuanji placed some tributes, and left with melancholy. Just a moment after Lu Xuanji left, a man and a woman appeared in front of the tomb. The man was Yi Zuan's. As for the woman, it was Yi Linglong who was supposed to die. At this moment, Yi Linglong was wearing plain clothes, not caring about the dust on the ground. She sat directly in front of the tomb, picked up the wine bowl in front of the tomb, and drank it down with a gulp. She also took a peach from the tribute table, took a bite, and said, "Father, am I wrong to do this?" Chapter 157. The eagle flies when full. There are graves one after another in the back mountain. In front of the graves, offerings and white paper money are placed, soul-calling banners are floating melodiously, and white paper banners are flying. Sitting on the ground, she gulped down the fine wine, which tasted very bad. In the past, Yi Linglong would have just taken a few sips, and poured it out. When she was born, her father had already advanced to the golden core stage. As a top-level second-generation cultivator, his quality of life was extremely high. He would not eat anything other than top-level spiritual food or drink anything other than top-level spiritual wine. He would change his clothes every day, and never repeat them in a month. But sitting in front of the grave, Yi Linglong drank the spiritual wine without any dislike. Because this was a tribute from her Taoist partner Lu Xuanji. "Father, am I wrong?" Yi Linglong asked. "It's not a mistake, but everyone is responsible for his choice." The father said, "There is no regret medicine in life. Once you make up your mind, don't regret it." "Father, we are not doing things right," Yi Linglong said. "We agreed to be Taoist partners, share honor and disgrace, and never give up. But now it's alright, but the recruitment of the Divine Water Palace has separated us directly. At the beginning, it was Lu Xuanji's guidance that allowed me to awaken the 7 aperture Taoist body. Because of this Taoist body, the probability of entering the golden core is increased from the 1st level to the 3rd level. But in order to join the Divine Water Palace, I directly kicked Lu Xuanji. What am I doing?" The father said calmly, "You are no longer suitable to be together. After awakening the 7 aperture Taoist body, your qualifications are top notch. Only by joining the Divine Water Palace can you go further. There is no future in staying in Shu. People go to high places, and water flows to low places. You are a top genius, but top geniuses also need resources and a certain environment for cultivation. Without these, there are too many geniuses who are buried and die halfway. For the sake of the great cause, those romantic feelings should be abandoned. But I can't get over it." Yi Linglong ate half of the peach, and threw it on the ground. The peach was covered with dirt. She poured another bowl of wine, and drank it in one gulp. "You will figure it out slowly. If you still can't figure it out, then don't think about it," the father said calmly. "The least valuable thing in this world is love. For many people, let alone love, even their life and freedom are not in their own hands. Once there was a genius, and he had a childhood sweetheart. The genius practiced too fast, and his childhood sweetheart was so eager to practice to catch up with him, that she became possessed and died. To the genius, the girlfriend was just a breeze. After the wind blew, it was just a little cold, and then nothing happened. There was also a cultivator who watched his Taoist partner being fed the Chun medicine by the evil young man, pressed under him, and doing shameful things. But the cultivator could do nothing but curse helplessly, like the wailing of a defeated dog, and then was slapped in the face by the evil young man, and thrown into a cesspool. There was once a female cultivator who said she was stubborn, but when the cultivator was seriously injured and dying, she chose to practice dual cultivation to heal him. But she didn't know that a few years later, the male cultivator was flirting with a female cultivator from aristocratic family, talking about Little Star, but she was not in his heart. Could it be that, if it's given for free, it's really worthless? Later, when the female cultivator passed away, he went to the Khan family and married the noble lady of the Khan family. Even though the Khan family had hunted him and they hated each other, at that moment, they smiled and put aside their grudges. Even if it's fake, you have to do it. Many times, sincere efforts are not as important as spirit stones, and loving someone is not as important as someone's family background. Some people hand over their innocence, and it's just a sigh from someone, but some noble people, just a little kindness, will be remembered by some people for a lifetime. This is the gap brought about by identity and family background. Yi Linglang asked, "Father, do you have someone you love?" "I used to, but not now." Father said, "Maybe you hate me, but as long as you are not as strong as me, you have to listen to me. Unless you enter the Giant stage and defeat me, everything is up to you." Yi Linglang said, "Father, will he remember me?" "He will remember, but he will forget it soon." Father said, "It's best for you to fake your death and get away like this, which saves both of your faces. Otherwise, you will break off the engagement and become enemies with each other, which will be detrimental to the future of the Yi family." He will be satisfied if he loses one Taoist partner and the Yi family gives him two Taoist partners in the future. Even if it is exposed in the future, the two families will not become enemies. Father is really calculating. Yi Linglang sneered. "Although I'm a giant and cultivator, the probability of achieving nascent soul is less than 1%, but you have the 7 aperture Taoist body, and there is a 3-level probability of becoming a nascent soul." Father said, "As long as you become a nascent soul, even if I die, I will smile in the 9 springs. After you leave, I will let Chenyu and Wanyi become Xuanji's Taoist partners. By then, he will be surrounded by girls. How much will he remember about you?" Yi Linglang was silent. Human nature cannot withstand the test, so don't test it. Testing human nature to prove whether I love you or not is a mentally retarded behavior. Even my father said that he could not withstand the test. Every time after testing human nature, it is either the loss of trust or the disintegration and separation. "Father, don't do this, okay?" Yi Linglang said. "It is difficult to raise a dragon in shallow water. In the land of Chu, there are limited spiritual veins, limited resources, and limited development limits. Many cultivators, when they reach the golden elixir, will leave Chu to travel outside, to gain opportunities and adventures." Father said, "Shenshu Palace is a good choice. There, you have at least a 5-fold probability of becoming a Yuanying." Yi Linglang nodded and said, "Child, I understand." Father said, "Pack up your things, let's go." "No, let's not pack up. Just leave here. Go straight. There's nothing to pack up." Yi Linglang nodded. There was nothing to say goodbye, so just leave. The flying boat appeared, and the father and daughter boarded the flying boat and disappeared into the distance. Looking back at the state of Chu, Yi Linglang was full of melancholy. This situation seemed a little beyond her expectations. She couldn't help but think of her experience of raising eagles in her youth. At that time, her father said that the eagle would fly when it was full. The eagle would choose to fly away when it was too full. Now it seems that she is not the eagle that chose to fly away after eating too much. In the Nirvana pool, she survived many disasters in a row and achieved the great cultivation of the Purple Mansion in one fell swoop. After achieving the great cultivation of the Purple Mansion, the 7 apertures Dao body was a small success, and the strange phenomenon, the infinite sea, was awakened. Both the qualifications and potential were greatly improved, from the original top genius to the peerless Xuanji. At this time, it was no longer suitable to stay in the state of Chu, and going to the Shenshu Palace was the best choice. Therefore, the marriage with Lu Xuanji was naturally impossible. It was impossible to cancel the engagement. First, the Yi family didn't have the face to cancel the engagement without a reason, and second, they were afraid of Fairy Jinzi. Since it was impossible to cancel the engagement, the only option was to fake death to escape. Fake death to escape to Shenshu Palace. If nothing unexpected happened, he might never have any contact with Lu Xuanji again, and he wouldn't be afraid of being exposed. Someone lost one Taoist partner and compensated with 2 Taoist partners. Even if it was exposed in the future, it wouldn't be a big problem. There was also the possibility of compensation. My father was very calculating, and he calculated everything clearly, without any loopholes. Chapter 158 King Lion. The flying boat disappeared and headed towards the endless sea. This time, we were going to the sea, to the Divine Water Palace. The Divine Water Palace is built on the endless sea, where there are top-level water-based exercises. The cultivators there are mainly water spirit roots. On the flying boat, my father spoke and talked about some things in the Divine Water Palace. There are top-level water-based skills there, and it is the most suitable for you. If in the past, you had less talent, it would not make much sense to join the Shenshu Palace, and you would only be an inner disciple, but now, you have awakened the 7 apertures Deo body, and evolved the infinite ocean. Joining the Shenshu Palace will make you a true disciple, or even a saint-level existence. In the future, you can expect to reach the golden core, and even the nascent soul. In this case, you and Lu Xuanji are no longer suitable. Yi Linglong said, I feel a little sad and a little disappointed. I feel sorry for him. The father continued, Linglong, I have a good friend in the Shenshu Palace. If you join her, she will take care of you. But you still have to rely on yourself. Don't be willful when you go out. You are the eldest daughter at home, and no one in the Danliang sect dares to provoke you. But when you go there, no one will spoil you. Child, I understand. Yi Linglong nodded. She only has 2 spiritual roots of water and soil. She is considered a top genius in the Danliang sect and a top genius in the Chu state. But in the vast world of cultivation, among those top sects, she is nothing. Only after awakening the 7 apertures Deo body, can one be qualified to be called a Xuanji. In the Shenshu Palace, the competition is also fierce. Many people eat meat without spitting out bones. You have to be careful. Father warned, be ruthless when necessary, don't be soft-hearted. Yi Linglong nodded. Father reminded some questions, and talked about some important things. The flying boat was moving forward. After 10 years of trekking, it finally arrived at the Shenshu Palace. Xiang Mountain. In the cave, a soft and beautiful woman sat on the bed, practicing the skills. The spiritual energy in the spirit cave flew out like a dragon, and was sucked into her mouth. Gulp. The dragon-like spiritual energy entered the Danshan, refined into a trace of magic power, and circulated around the golden elixir. The golden elixir flashed with brilliant light, and sharp sword energy surged, as if to cut through the void and break all laws. There were 8 Dan patterns on the golden elixir. The patterns were twisting and changing, revealing strange mysteries, and evolving supreme mysteries. At this moment, the 9th Dan pattern appeared on the golden elixir. It was very illusory, and seemed to be about to dissipate at any time. Whoosh. At this moment, the mana in the body was running, evolving the mysteries of yin and yang, turning into yin and yang fires, forging the golden elixir. The golden elixir made a mysterious sound. The 9th Dan pattern seemed to be clearer and clearer, but at this moment, a backlash came. Puff. Ancestor Jin spat out a mouthful of blood, and the 9th illusory Dan pattern on the golden elixir dissipated. Wiping his mouth, he practiced the skills to heal his injuries, and his originally weak body gradually returned to normal. As if thinking of something, Ancestor Jin opened his mouth, and the golden elixir emerged from his body. He took out a 3rd grade flying sword, and killed the golden elixir. Swish. Sparks were flying everywhere, and the golden elixir was not damaged at all, but a gap appeared on the flying sword. The 8th turn golden elixir was extremely strong, and could be called a 4th grade magic weapon. Many monsters were used to activating the golden elixir to attack the enemy, because it was the strongest magic weapon with the strongest attack power. Of course, the golden elixir was also easy to be contaminated and damaged. Once the golden elixir was damaged, it might fall to the golden elixir realm or even die. Therefore, even though the golden elixir was the strongest thing, few cultivators would expose it directly. The 9th turn is too difficult, and the probability of entering the 9th turn is less than 1%. The old ancestor Jin sighed. I have tried 3 times in a row, but still failed. Imagine that she was an immortal at the age of 8, and she achieved the golden elixir at the age of 150. It took only 20 years to enter the 7th turn. But then, it took a full 130 years to enter the 8th turn. Then, it took 100 years to achieve the 9th turn, and tried 3 times in a row, but all failed. The 7th turn is not difficult, but the 8th turn is like heaven, and the 9th turn is like hell. In order to achieve the 8th turn, she spent a lot of spiritual materials and set up the 5-sided pill-raising formation. The resources consumed were enough to train 3 nascent soul cultivators. Every time she attacked the 9th turn, she would consume a lot of resources. There were not many resources left. The 9th turn is too difficult. A trace of despair and hesitation flashed in Jin Liuzu's eyes. It seemed that giving up now was also a good choice. With her 8th turn foundation, she would soon be able to enter the nascent soul, and then spend 1,500 years to enter the god transformation, and then return to Zhongzhou to seek revenge. Just thinking about it, despair flashed in her eyes. A mere god transformation is simply not enough to seek revenge. She is making progress, and the enemy is also making progress. The enemy has more resources, more geniuses, and more powerful people. How can she seek revenge? How can she fight against those behemoths? If she wants to surpass the enemy, she can only overtake on the curve. The 9th turn is the only hope. Crash. As if thinking of something, Jin Liuzu let go of some scrolls. White Bone Demon Scripture, Yellow Spring Demon Scripture, Corpse Puppet Demon Scripture, Hehuan Demon Scripture, Taishang Demon Scripture, Blood Shadow Demon Scripture, Gu Demon Scripture, etc. These scriptures are all the magic skills. Some of these magic scriptures are incomplete, some are deleted, some have loopholes, some have intentional errors, some have traps, and some have secret doors. These scriptures all have drawbacks. The speed of cultivation is fast in the early stage. It is easy to go crazy in the middle stage. It is easy to stop in the late stage, and it is fierce when it reaches the peak. The righteous cultivators are all disdainful of practicing the magic skills, not because of the problem of moral cleanliness. In fact, the stronger the person, the less he cares about the so-called morality. It's just that the magic skills are all problematic, and they are seriously obsessed with the devil, and have a high mortality rate. The skills of the immortal sects are not only prohibited to prevent leakage, but also have to go through various tests if they want to exchange for merit points. But the skills of the magic sects are not prohibited, but are constantly leaked, and some skills are deliberately spread. According to the calculation, there is an opportunity here that can help me enter the 9th revolution. But where is the opportunity? Jin Liuzu stood up, a little impatient. When the Jin family was destroyed, she used the plum blossom issue to calculate that it would be auspicious to go to the East Wilderness. When she arrived in the East Wilderness, she calculated again and settled in the state of Chu as auspicious. After spending another 100 years of her life, she concluded that the state of Chu had her opportunity, which would help her enter the 9th revolution. But the specific content of the calculation would consume 1,000 years of her life, which even she could not afford, so she had to give up. At this time, the void flashed, and a black shadow appeared, wearing a mask on his face, so his face could not be seen clearly. An interesting thing happened. The black shadow said, "King Lian, what happened?" Jin Liuzu asked. Lu Xuanji was kicked. King Lian said, and then told the story. Interesting. They are not destined to be together. Jin Liuzu said, at the beginning, when the plum blossom issue calculated, it was destined to be apart, but I didn't expect it to be really not destined to be together. Should I tell him the truth about this matter? Chapter 159 Wan Beota. No need. King Lian smiled and said, this is good for him. He has abandoned his worries and cut off the cause and effect. His cultivation speed will naturally be faster. It's just that Yuzuan's got the advantage. He is both a showman and a hero. All the benefits are taken by him. Jin Liuzu frowned. Benefits? King Lian sneered. This is also good for Lu Xuanji. He gave up 1 and became 2. He can sleep with her and hug her. Isn't that what men like? Jin Liuzu was silent. But many times, silence is the answer. Jinzi, you should understand that we have no way out. If we want revenge, we can't have too much love. King Lian said, love is not only a luxury, but also redundant and useless for us. Those opponents have never given up hunting down the remnants of the Jin family. Maybe, tomorrow, a Yuanying master will descend on Xiang Mountain and exterminate us. If you have any connection with him, you will harm him. I understand. Xuanji said. Xuanji, you don't understand at all. King Lian sneered. After breaking through the golden elixir, your lifespan is 1200 years. But because of that incident, your lifespan directly became 800 years. You have been constantly calculating some things, which has reduced your lifespan by 300 years. In addition, your bone age is more than 300 years old, and the remaining lifespan is less than 200 years. It is so difficult to break through the 9th turn in less than 200 years. If you don't break through the 9th turn, how can you take revenge? Xuanji said. He has outstanding talent and extraordinary qualifications. If he grows up, he can help us take revenge. He is the reincarnation of the god. Hearing this, King Lian was silent instead. After a long time, he said, he was once a god. After his death, he was reincarnated and cultivated again. His speed may be faster than that of ordinary cultivators, and his combat power is much stronger than that of cultivators at the same level. But if there are no resources, and no strong people to protect him, it is still difficult to become a god again. We can invest in him, but we don't have many resources. Of course. Xuanji nodded. At this time, the token on his waist rang. There was a message from Long Xuan. Miss, I lost him. Lu Xuanji disappeared. Xuanji looked at the news, and was slightly surprised. Disappeared? How could he disappear? You are a half-step giant, and how could you lose a foundation building cultivator? I don't know either. He walked out of Danliang sect, paid tribute to Yilinglong, and then disappeared. Xuanji's heart was slightly confused. King Lian said, it's normal to lose him, because he is the reincarnation of a transformed god. How many trump cards and killer moves he has are not known to the public. Anything that happens is natural. In her eyes, the power of the transformed god is not something that a mere giant can guess. Come back, you don't have to protect him. Why do you have to do this? He is just a mere foundation building cultivator. It's not safe outside on the road to the rise of the strong. There must be various dangers. No one can practice hard in seclusion and become invincible. Come back. He has his own way. He has his own destiny. Xuanji responded. Come back. The wind was blowing, and on the road, Lu Xuanji got rid of Long Xuan and the protector. On Baidu map, there was no trace of this person. Then, he closed Baidu map, as his body could not bear to keep it open for a long time. Xiaoxu is gone. Linglong is dead. Am I a bit of a wife killer? Two Taoist partners have met with bad luck in a row. Lu Xuanji smiled bitterly and was speechless. He was in a bad mood, and did not want to go home or practice. He began to wander around outside aimlessly. Walking casually, a market appeared in front of him. This market was called Jialong Market, which belonged to the market directly under the Danliang sect. He restrained his breath, and arrived at the door of the market. On the stone tablet in front of the door, a breath flashed, probing his identity. The market prohibits magic cultivators, demon cultivators, and cultivators on the wanted list from entering. After confirming that the breath was correct, the stone tablet restrained its breath. Lu Xuanji entered the market. This market looked quite lively. On both sides of the street, there were various stalls, and cultivators sold spiritual minerals, spiritual talismans, jade slips, and elixirs casually. A cultivator came forward to ask about the price, and then bargained continuously, and the owner of the small business kept responding. The two sides of the street seemed very lively. Lu Xuanji looked casually, and the cultivators who set up stalls were mainly in the key training stage. There were very few foundation building cultivators setting up stalls, because after reaching the foundation building stage, they are considered middle to upper figures in the cultivation world. Whether they join some cultivation families as guest officials or directly open up a cultivation family, they are all good ways out. They no longer need to set up stalls on the roadside to sell some items. Searching and looking at the stalls, I roughly looked through them. The items sold are mainly low-cost elixirs, low-level talismans, low-level exercises, low-level monsters, etc. Most of them are of uneven quality, and there are many fakes. There are also some items that were found in tombs or in some ancient caves. I walked around the street for half a day, hoping to find a bargain and some opportunities. As a result, after walking for half a day, I encountered many adventures and many fakes. Then, I started to enter some shops and asked. Among these shops, there are white yang rice, hemostatic pills, Xianling pills, etc., as well as first grade spiritual tools, second grade spiritual tools, etc. The quantity and quality of the products are much better than those of the street stalls, and there are basically no fakes. However, the price is 1 to 2 levels higher than that of the stalls outside. The products are aimed at the crowd, mainly casual cultivators, targeting the lower level key training cultivators. As for casual cultivators, the most needed foundation building pills are not available on the counters of many shops. In this regard, many shops seem to have a tacit understanding. Foundation building pills are strategic materials. Many families will only complain about less but not more. Even if they don't need it, they can sell it to other families to earn favors. Walking, they arrived in front of Wanbao building. This is a chamber of commerce opened by the Zifu family. There is a small auction every 3 years and a big auction every 30 years. When the big auction appears, there will be Zifu pills, Chunayang pills, 3rd grade spiritual tools, 3rd grade spiritual talismans, 3rd grade formations, etc. And there will be Zifu cultivators coming to barter. The small auction held every 3 years was much more ordinary. The items for sale were mainly useful to key training monks and foundation building monks. Interesting, why not go in and take a look? Xuanji made up his mind. 3 days later, the auction held every 3 years in Wanbao Tower began. When Xuanji showed the Danliang order, a maid immediately greeted him warmly. He went up to the private room on the 2nd floor and looked down at everything from a high place. There were about 20 such private rooms. If it was a conference held every 30 years, only Purple Mansion monks could enter, but now foundation building monks could enter. Xuanji sat in the private room. In his divine sense, only 5 of the 20 private rooms were occupied, and the rest were empty. This auction seemed very deserted. Looking down again, there were about 300 Gigan cultivators crowded together in the reception room on the 1st floor. Some of them wore masks, while others simply revealed their true appearance. At this moment, a female foundation building cultivator walked onto the stage. She had a graceful figure, beautiful curves, and a hint of coercion. She said, "The auction begins now." Chapter 160 Yellow Sand Formation, Rise. The auction began. First, a shield was brought onto the stage, flashing bright light. As the shield was activated, runes appeared. This shield is called the Turtle Spirit Shield. The price is 1000 spirit stones. Each increase in price is at least 100 spirit stones. The auction begins now, the female cultivator said, and the auction began. 1200 spirit stones, 1300 spirit stones, 1500 spirit stones. There were cultivators shouting, and the final price was 1500 spirit stones, which fell into the hands of a cultivator at the 6th level of key training. Next, the 2nd grade talisman, the Fire Spirit Talisman, can be used to perform a 3rd level foundation building attack. There are 10 pieces in total, and the price is 500 spirit stones. The female cultivator said. One item after another was put on the auction floor. Xuanji only took a rough look at it for a few times, and then lost interest, and ate the spirit fruit in boredom. The Turtle Spirit Shield was only a 2nd grade spiritual weapon, and he could refine it, so there was no need to buy it here. As for the 10 Fire Spirit Talismans, he was not a talisman maker, and could not refine them. But with the 7th level of foundation building, any casual attack was above the Fire Spirit rune. At the auction, there were 2nd grade spirit talismans, 2nd grade spirit tools, 2nd grade formations, 2nd grade alchemy manuals, and some pill recipes, etc. These were useful to those casual cultivators and small families, but not very useful to Xuanji. In alchemy, tool refining, spirit plants, formations, exercises, spirit talismans, etc. The Lu family has corresponding inheritances, which may not be profound, but they are enough. It is impossible to make money, but it is enough to be self-sufficient. The atmosphere was very lively with enthusiastic shouting. 2nd grade spirit beast egg. This is a black tortoise. If it is hatched and carefully cultivated, it can be transformed into a foundation building monster beast. The female cultivator said again, the starting price is 1000 spirit stones. 1,200. A casual cultivator said. 1,300. On the second floor, a foundation building cultivator said. The casual cultivator stopped. At the price of 1,200, the black tortoise egg fell into the hands of the foundation building cultivator on the second floor. Xuanji yawned and did not shout. The auctioneer did not lie. This spirit beast was a black tortoise, but he hid important information. Mixed blood black tortoise, pure blood black tortoise, and royal blood black tortoise were all black tortoises, but the price difference was huge. I guess this spirit beast egg was a mixed blood black tortoise. He was not in the mood to cultivate spirit beasts. It was not only troublesome, but also very boring. Next, I will sell a volume of exercises called Yin Yang Dragon and Phoenix Secret. This volume of exercises can be practiced all the way to the nascent soul. This exercise is a joint exercise for men and women. When men and women practice together, the speed will be accelerated by 3 levels. Everyone understands? The auctioneer said. His words were a little ambiguous. The price is 1,000 starting price. Opening this volume of exercises, the cover is a beautiful woman, extremely beautiful, wearing revealing clothes, and very charming. Many casual cultivators talked about it. After the discussion, many cultivators also had fiery eyes, but gradually their expressions calmed down. Many seemingly beautiful exercises actually have traps. The auctioneer called out 3 times in a row, but no one spoke. They are cheating newcomers again. They got a certain cultivation method from the Hehuan demon sect, so they tore off the cover and modified the contents inside so that it became a certain righteous cultivation method. This routine can also deceive some newbies. Xuanji looked at the volume of Yuan Ying cultivation method and muttered in his heart, 1,000 spirit stones. The auctioneer finally said, this is the last time. If it still cannot be auctioned this time, it will enter the unsold stage. 1,000 spirit stones for the first time. 1,000 spirit stones for the second time. 1,000 spirit stones for the third time. The auctioneer looked at the dull atmosphere and spoke again. This volume of cultivation method has exquisite illustrations on it. The version is ancient and has a history of at least 1,500 years. He said a lot, but no cultivator spoke. The atmosphere was completely dull. 1,000 spirit stones is too expensive. 500 spirit stones. I will treat it as buying a pornographic painting. Just then, in a private room on the second floor, a second generation cultivator spoke. Okay. The auctioneer breathed a sigh of relief. 500 spirit stones are done. Next, auction the foundation building pill. As the auctioneer spoke, suddenly, a foundation building pill appeared. With the appearance of the foundation building pill, the eyes of the casual cultivators became hot, especially those cultivators who had reached the 9th level of key refining. The price kept rising, and finally reached 12,000 spirit stones. Then came the second, third, fourth, and 5th pills. With the appearance of the foundation building pill, the auction, which was originally cold, became hot. This was the main course of the auction. Xuanji looked at this scene with a calm expression. After staying in Xiang Mountain for 10 years, he had neglected the care of the medicine garden, but after returning home, he stepped up the care, and the chalcedony had matured, and could be used to refine the foundation building pill. Next, the Lu family had stable medicinal materials, and on average, they could refine a furnace of foundation building pills every 10 years. There was no need to purchase foundation building pills from outside. The appearance of the foundation building pills in Wanbao Tower at this time was not very attractive to him. After the foundation building pill, the auctioneer took out a plate with a fragment in it and said, this is a fragment of a 4th grade magic weapon. The starting price is 3,000 spirit stones. A foundation building cultivator on the second floor spoke up and finally bought it for 3,500 spirit stones. Then, another ancient pill scroll, incomplete exercises, incomplete array plates, etc. were brought up one after another, with prices ranging from 1,000 spirit stones to 3 years ago. These were all from tombs or ancient caves, and the items were damaged. They were not valuable, so they were moved to the auction for sale. It would be better if they could be sold, but it didn't matter if they couldn't be sold. At the auction, making money is secondary. The main thing is to accumulate popularity. At the large auction, held every 30 years, Some precious items can appear, but at the small auction, held every 3 years, the items that appear are all low-level items and low-value items. The truly valuable items have long been digested internally and will not appear at the auction. The auction ended quickly. Xuanji did not make any moves at this auction. He just watched a crowd of excitement and felt lonely. After walking out of Wanbao Tower and strolling around the market, Xuanji left. He did not fly in the air, but just walked on the road like an ordinary person. After walking out of the market for about 100 miles, the surrounding scenery suddenly changed. Grey mist rose up, and 3 formation flags were running, surrounding Xuanji. Another big fat sheep was caught. Kill him. Yellow sand formation. Start. The 3 cultivators who controlled the formation flags were all at the foundation building stage, and they urged the formation flags to strangle and kill. Endless yellow sand continued to spread, sweeping 100 meters, and instantly submerged Xuanji. Chapter 161 Golden Silk Book. Woo woo woo. Endless yellow sand surged and submerged everything. Each grain of sand was as heavy as a mountain. Countless sand swept in, enough to kill the 9th level of foundation building. The 3 foundation building bandits had ferocious faces and urged the yellow sand formation, as if they saw the scene of the foundation building monk being submerged and killed. But just when they were about to be submerged, Xuanji made a move. With the Lihuo sword in hand, he slashed out with one sword. One sword breaks all laws. The yellow sand and the flame collided together, and the yellow sand scattered on the ground, making a bang bang sound. Then, another sword slashed out, and slashed at a node of the yellow sand formation. Suddenly, a floor appeared in the formation, making a bang bang sound. Swish. Another sword slashed out, as fast as a meteor and a lightning bolt. It was like a flame burning in the void, as if everything was annihilated. Plop. A bloody mark appeared on the necks of the 3 bandits. The leader of the 6 sons fell to the ground like a ball. What a fast sword, said the old bandit cultivator. After that, he lost consciousness and fell into eternal darkness. One sword broke through the yellow sand. One sword broke through the formation. One sword killed 3 bandit cultivators. But Xuanji frowned slightly. It's still a little bit worse. The combat power of the same realm is only the 3rd level of Jin Laozu. Is immortal sword body too strong, or am I too weak? He was very dissatisfied with the 3 swords just now. Xuanji stepped forward, raised his long sword, and 3 storage bags fell into his hands. He checked the storage bags, and began to check the spoils. This is the Danliang sects in a disciple token. I didn't expect that these 3 people are also bandit cultivators. Looking at the 3 tokens, Xuanji was slightly surprised. But after being surprised, he turned calm. These 3 cultivators are all in a disciples of Danliang sect. One is at the 7th level of foundation building, one is at the 8th level of foundation building, and one is at the 9th level of foundation building. Their combat power is good, but they didn't expect that they would do the work of bandit cultivators when they go out. It's a pity that when you walk by the river, you will get your shoes wet. After a rough count, he activated the Lihuo. After just a few breaths, the 3 bodies turned into ashes. With a gust of wind, they disappeared between heaven and earth, destroying the bodies and erasing all traces. Then he burned the storage bags, clothes, and other items with obvious traces. Those that could not be burned were buried directly on the spot and then disappeared. After destroying the bodies and erasing all traces, Xuanji disappeared. He kept walking and walked 3,000 miles away to a small town in the mortal world and settled down in the town. Then he opened a storage bag and checked the spoils. There were a lot of sundries in it, many of which were sold at auctions with very low prices, and most of them were useless things. The 3 of them robbed some people, but they were unlucky. The more they met Xuanji, the more they capsized. This is a black tortoise egg, but it's mixed blood. Xuanji saw the black tortoise egg, which was about the size of a fist, with exquisite patterns on it. Just knocked it, and it felt like a fossil inside, very solid. It didn't look like a living egg, but like a stone. Destiny deduction. Xuanji activated his mobile phone, and began to deduce. In the destiny deduction, this is a basalt egg. In terms of grade, it is a real blood basalt. The vitality of the basalt egg has dissipated, and it can no longer be hatched. Sure enough, there is a pit. However, it is a real blood basalt. Xuanji was slightly surprised. The products that appear at the auction are mainly cheap items, unnecessary items, and uncertain items. As for high value items, they are not listed at the auction at all. They have been intercepted by some people in advance. Of course, there is no shortage of appraisers with limited skills, and there are omissions. The basalt egg can be listed at the auction, and the appraiser identified that it is a dead egg and cannot be hatched. Unfortunately, the appraiser is also half-baked, only knowing one thing, not the other. He detected a dead egg, but failed to detect that it is a pure-blooded basalt. The demon race attaches great importance to blood, and blood is king. The higher the blood level, the greater the potential and the higher the future achievement. Blood determines the upper limit of a demon race. For example, a mixed blood demon beast is mostly at the foundation building stage, and occasionally enters the purple palace. As for attaining the golden elixir, it is impossible. Those who can become demon kings are at least pure-blooded demon beasts. Pure-blooded demon beasts are guaranteed to be golden elixir, and if they work hard, they have a great chance of reaching the nascent soul stage. A pure-blooded black tortoise egg, if carefully cultivated, will become a golden elixir demon king. However, many cultivators are short of money, so where would they have the extra spare money to cultivate a golden elixir demon king? Moreover, as the demon beasts become stronger and their blood memory awakens, the backlash against human cultivators is also severe. This has affected the price of pure-blooded black tortoise eggs, but even so, at some large auctions, they can be sold for 500,000 spirit stones. Considering that this is a dead egg that cannot be hatched, the price is 50,000 spirit stones. At the Wanbao Tower auction, the starting price of the black tortoise egg was 1,000 spirit stones, and the last 1,300 white spirit stones fell into the hands of a foundation building casual cultivator. If Wanbao Tower knew some inside information, they would definitely cry to death. Xuanji counted them and put them into the storage bag. He checked other items again and found a foundation building pill, a second grade array plate, and some other miscellaneous things, all of which were of low value. Finally, a book fell into his hand. Yin Yang Dragon and Phoenix Secret, a method of collecting and replenishing. There are various Chun Palace pictures on it, and the paintings are vivid, revealing and chaotic. You can improve your life source by collecting and replenishing female cultivators. A cultivator with 5 spiritual roots can be transformed into 4 spiritual roots by collecting and replenishing 5 female cultivators of the same realm. A cultivator with 4 spiritual roots can be transformed into 3 spiritual roots by collecting and replenishing 10 female cultivators of the same realm. A cultivator with 3 spiritual roots needs to collect and replenish female cultivators who are 1 realm higher than themselves to be transformed into 2 spiritual roots. A cultivator with 2 spiritual roots needs to collect and replenish female cultivators who are 2 realms higher than themselves to be transformed into heavenly spiritual roots. This method, through the art of collecting and replenishing, can improve one's own origin and improve one's own qualifications. One is the improvement of female cultivators who collect and replenish more, and the principle is quantity is king. The other is to collect and replenish female cultivators of a higher realm to improve the origin, and the principle is quality is king. Most of the female cultivators who were collected would have their foundations damaged, their cultivation level regressed, their paths ruined, or even die. There were 2 magic weapons that could restrain female cultivators. One was called the Beauty Picture, which could hold captured female cultivators in it, and with the help of the pure yin body inside, it could help female cultivators recover their cultivation level, or even improve their cultivation level. The other was called the Chaos Yin Ring, which could release the light of Chaos Yin, and when it hit a female cultivator, she would fall to a higher realm, and be at the mercy of others. It was just that the back was torn off, and there was no description of the refining methods of the 2 magic weapons. Looking at the traces of the torn pages, it was a long time ago. This technique is too evil, it's better to destroy it. Xuanji frowned, a trace of anger flashed in his eyes, and he urged the fire of separation to burn the book, turning it into ashes. Woo. The pages of the book seemed to be made of special materials, and they could not be destroyed for a while. He continued to increase the flames, and after 10 breaths, the book turned into ashes. At this moment, the ashes on the ground condensed again, and turned into a golden silk book. There was a word on it that looked like a flying fish or a dragon pattern, explaining the mystery of the Tao. Chapter 162, Yin and Yang Transformation, the Three Treasures of Heaven. As he waved his hand, the golden silk book fell on his palm. He pulled it hard, and even the 7th level of foundation building could not damage it. He urged his mind to enter it, and suddenly the words on the scroll appeared automatically. The words jumped, entered the sea of consciousness, and turned into a volume of exercises. Yin Yang Transformation. This volume of exercises tells the method of yin and yang. There are 3 levels in total. The first level is the dual cultivation of mana. The mana of both parties enters their own bodies, rotates with each other, and turns into mixed essence. It is much faster than the cultivator practicing alone. The second level is the dual cultivation of the soul. The love is entangled, and the mind and spirit are fused together, which can improve the soul power and the strength of the soul. The third level is the dual cultivation of the origin. The 2 bodies are fused together, the origins collide, you have me, I have you, and you can improve your talent and qualifications. This volume of exercises focuses on the joint cultivation of men and women, which improves the cultivation speed, soul strength, and cultivation qualifications of both parties. The efficiency of the joint cultivation depends on the degree of love between the 2 parties. The more affectionate the man and woman are, the faster they will cultivate. On the contrary, if they are not in harmony, they will cultivate slowly. The transformation of yin and yang does not depend on aptitude or understanding, but only on affection and the degree of affection between the 2 parties. At this moment, a voice came. Junior, I'm the old demon Helen. I was originally immortal, but because I had a pure yang body, I was captured by the Helen demon sect, and became the cauldron of a female demon, and was consumed day and night. Later, the Helen sect was breached and I escaped. In the world of immortal cultivation, I captured female cultivators from the demon clan, the Buddhist clan, the gods clan, etc., and turned them into cauldrons, and consumed their essence to improve my cultivation, until I met her later. Because of her, I gave up the Yin Yang Dragon and Phoenix Sutra, and created the Yin Yang Transformation. Later, I practiced step by step, and achieved enlightenment, and became an immortal. To ascend to the immortal world, you cannot carry any magic weapons, you must ascend naked. Before ascending, I left the beauty picture, Chaos Yin Ring, and Pure Yang Sword, in the Zifu realm. They are all of the 9th grade, the best in the world. As for where they are, it depends on your luck, ha ha ha. At this moment, the voice dissipated. Looking at the golden paper in his hand again, the words on it disappeared, leaving only the blank golden paper. Whoosh. Xuanji urged the flame to burn it, but it was difficult to destroy. What a pity. This golden paper, I don't know what it is made of. Xuanji sighed, and threw the golden paper into the storage bag. This time the harvest was great, a pure blood basalt egg, although it was a dead egg, but the price was 50,000 spirit stones. There is also the yin yang transformation of the old demon Helen, which can be said to be the world's top dual cultivation method. If Yilinglan was still here, it would be useful, but now he is the only one left, and it is useless. In the Shuai cave, the story of the old demon Helen is recorded, but it is difficult to tell whether the story is true or false, but the 3 great treasures left in the world are true. These 3 great treasures are nowhere to be found, and the world is eager for them. The beauty picture is not very useful to me, and I don't follow the path of Helen. The chaotic yin ring is not very useful either, and I don't plan to capture female cultivators as a furnace. The pure yang sword, which is compatible with my physique, is the most useful to me, but I don't know where it is. Xuanji sighed slightly, feeling that his luck has been declining recently. Bad luck. First Yilinglan died, then he went to the auction, but didn't encounter any treasures. He was ambushed, but he killed a wave of counterattacks, and got some treasures, but they were not very useful. Xuanji packed up his magic things and left. Walking around casually, relaxing, walking in the villages and towns of mortals, he saw mortals working hard for 3 meals. He also saw prostitutes who sold smiles for a living. and forced to laugh. He also saw robbers rampant and killing everywhere. He also saw some officials who were upright and honest during the day, but changed at night. He also saw some 5 spiritual roots cultivators walking in the mortal world, fighting for a few spiritual stones. The world is full of turmoil. Many of them are mortals, with a lifespan of less than 100 years, but they also live a diverse life. After 5 years of traveling outside, Xuanji's state of mind was improving, and the depression suppressed in his heart was reduced a lot. 5 years later, he returned to Changgyuan Mountain again. Changgyuan Mountain was still the same, stable and orderly. Some cultivators were practicing, some children were learning the common sense of cultivation, and there were cultivators running shops outside. When they arrived at the medicine garden, there were 2 foundation building cultivators sitting in charge, guarding the medicine garden. These 2 foundation building cultivators were both first grade spiritual plant husbands, and were responsible for taking care of the medicine garden when he was no longer there. Greetings, clan leader. How are you, clan leader? Recently, these 2 cultivators, one is called Lupingan, and the other is called Lupingian. They just built their foundation more than 10 years ago, and they are still at the first level of foundation building. After building their foundation, unless those with particularly good talents or a lot of resources, many cultivators often take 20 to 30 years to advance to a higher level. When they met the clan leader, the 2 were a little restrained. Don't be nervous, I want to test you. Xuanji spoke, asking about some knowledge of spiritual plants, how to take care of chalcedony, and other spiritual medicines. Lupingan spoke a little reserved, and he stuttered and sweated in the end. Lupingan answered more fluently and calmly, but he also answered some things incorrectly. After asking for a while, Xuanji spoke and began to point out some knowledge of spiritual plants, some precautions, etc. After teaching for an hour, the 2 looked grateful. Xuanji just nodded as a response. Open the formation and enter the medicine garden. There are 3 places in the Lu family that are most strictly guarded. One is the library, one is the family treasury, and one is the medicine garden. In the medicine garden, a strict formation is set up. Not to mention ordinary cultivators, even the purple mansion cultivators can't get in for a while. The medicine garden is divided into 3 layers according to the grade. The outermost layer is the first grade spiritual medicine, the inner layer is the second grade spiritual medicine, and the core is the third grade spiritual medicine. For the spiritual medicines in the outer area, you only need to bring the token issued by the family to enter, but for the spiritual medicines in the inner layer, the great elder or the clan leader needs to open it personally. As for the innermost, only the clan leader has the power. The area within a radius of 200 miles is the location of the Lu family medicine garden, where various spiritual medicines are planted. Spiritual medicines have strict requirements for the growth environment. The nether grass needs to grow in a cool valley and in the moist black and grey spiritual soil, so the Lu family directly built several thousand-meter high mountains to form an artificial canyon. The white ghost flower needs to grow in the lake, so the Lu family built a lake several hundred meters deep and planted it in it. The blood orchid needs the blood of monsters as fertilizer, so the Lu family regularly purchases some monster blood. There are also some other spiritual medicines and herbs, which also require corresponding environments. In order to create a suitable environment, the Lu family constantly transforms the terrain and builds a simulated environment to perfectly restore and shape the living environment of spiritual medicines and increase the survival rate of spiritual medicines. Don't look at the area of the medicine garden, which is 300 miles huge, but the number of spiritual medicines growing in it is very small. In order to make the spiritual medicine grow better, the Lu family spent more than 100,000 spiritual stones to lay a secondary spiritual vein under the medicine garden. After a general tour, the spiritual medicines are growing well and have adapted to the simulated environment established by the Lu family. Walking and walking, we reached the inner layer. In the shade of the hillside, there are many chalcedony mushrooms. They are the size of a fist, and there are golden veins on the leaves. Some are just shallow golden veins, while others have 2, 3, and so on. The golden veins represent the age. Some chalcedony mushrooms will mature in another 3 to 5 years. Here, 30 chalcedony mushrooms are planted, which mature in batches, and can be harvested in batches to refine the foundation building pill. How much is used? How much is replanted? Not too much, not too little. Why not plant more chalcedony mushrooms? One is that there is no time, and the other is that the spiritual power is not enough. There was no time, mainly because Xuanji was busy with cultivation. Cultivation was the first priority, and he spent relatively little time on spiritual medicine cultivation, so he could not expand the scale. Jadeite has higher requirements for soil fertility, and consumes a lot of spiritual energy from underground spiritual veins. If the scale was expanded, the underground spiritual veins would not be able to bear it. He walked forward again, and planted some other second-grade spiritual medicines, such as zinnian grass, baling flower, etc., which can assist the foundation building cultivators in cultivation, and improve the cultivator's speed. These second-grade spiritual medicines have limited area and limited production, and most of them are still in the seedling stage. It will take at least 100 years to wait until the harvest season. Xuanji stepped forward and urged the spring breeze wood spirit art to start ripening. He stopped when the zinnian consumed 7 layers. He continued to walk inside and reached the core position. At the core position, he opened the formation, and immediately a 10-kilometer wide medicine garden appeared. Here, third-grade spiritual medicines, pure yang grass, purple yang grass, nirvana flower and other high-level spiritual medicines were planted. At this time, they were in the seedling state. After a short rest, he began to ripen them. Living in the core area, constantly ripening it, the spiritual medicine has grown a little. But it will take another 200 years to mature and be used as medicine. If there is an unexpected situation, it is reasonable to mature in 300 years. This is because he is a third-grade spiritual plant master who can activate the wood spirit power to ripen. If the third-grade spiritual medicine is left to grow and mature naturally, it will take at least 2 or 3,000 years, enough to kill the golden elixir and the primordial infant. Half a year later, he left the medicine garden. The ripening is over. After ripening for a period of time, the spiritual medicine should also be allowed to grow naturally. Appropriate ripening is conducive to the growth of spiritual medicine, but excessive ripening will destroy the medicinal power. Back in the cave, Xuanji felt the opportunity for a breakthrough. At most 2 or 3 years, he can break through. At this time, the great elder came and said, "I know that Yilinglang has fallen. I'm sorry. Thank you, I will pay attention." Xuanji said, "Xuanji, Yilinglang has passed away, but you can't continue to be depressed." The elder said, "Another cultivator from the Yi family has come to introduce you to a Taoist partner. One is Yi Chenaiyu, and the other is Yi Wanai. Which one do you choose?" If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 163 Guilt. Urging for marriage again. Xuanji was a little annoyed and said, "Grand Elder, Yilinglang has passed away, and it hasn't been 10 years yet, and now they are looking for a marriage partner again. It's a bit too much." "Is it too much?" the Grand Elder said calmly. "Not at all. The father dies, and the mother gets married. Let's not talk about other things, just talk about my Lu family. Every year there are cultivators who pass away, and every year there are cultivators who die in battle. Only parents and sons are sad for a while. As for other people, no one is in the mood to be sad. Everyone is very busy, and has no time to be sad. If someone dies today, cry for a while, and someone dies tomorrow, cry for a while. Let's not practice anymore. Yi Chenai or Yi Wanai, choose one of the two. I'm not in the mood." Xuanji said directly. "Xuanji, you should leave descendants," said the elder, with a somewhat cold tone. "Life is unpredictable, and the future is never certain. Yilinglang has outstanding talent, but she still fell in the Purple Mansion tribulation. Your talent is against the sky, but how can you guarantee that you will definitely become a Purple Mansion? No one can guarantee that he will become a Purple Mansion 100%, unless he is a legendary heavenly spirit. If you unfortunately fall in the Purple Mansion tribulation, leaving a descendant, I will also have some thoughts. When you die, your son will visit your grave. If you die, only your son will remember you and visit your grave. Lu Xuanji was silent. He stood up and looked out the window, as if thinking about life. Yi Linglang's death gave him a huge shock. On the road of cultivating immortals, only a few people can live forever, and only a few people can prove the purple mansion and the golden elixir. Cultivators may fall at any time. It's time to leave hope for your family. Okay, Lu Xuanji said. Everything is up to the Great Elder. Haha, Xuanji, you finally thought it through. The Great Elder laughed and said, Yi Chenai or Yi Wanai, you choose which one. Or, you can take both of them together. Take both. Lu Xuanji said, I want both of them. I'm just a cultivator of the 7th level of foundation building. Why should I take both? Even the purple mansion cultivators don't have such qualifications. The Yi family is a big immortal family. There are giant and cultivators in the family. There is no need to be so humble. If it gets out, you don't have to be afraid of being laughed at by others. A joke. The Great Elder sneered. In this world, only the strong laugh at the weak, and the weak can laugh at the strong. This is what Yi Xuanzi, the giant and ancestor of the Yi family, said. Let Yi Chenai and Yi Wanai be your Taoist partners together. Just because I feel guilty about you, it is considered to compensate you. As for explanation, no explanation is needed. As for jokes, who dares to laugh? In the Yi family, at ordinary times, many clan leaders and elders have the final say. The giant and ancestors rarely speak, and rarely manage these matters. But when he spoke, his words were as important as the law of nature. Anyone who dared to oppose, would be beaten to death. Anyone who dared to laugh at him would be beaten to death. Compensate me, why? Lu Xuanji said puzzledly, as if the Yi family didn't owe him anything. I don't know, said the elder. It's just that the giant and ancestor spoke, and everything was approved. Remember to go on a blind date tomorrow. Okay. Lu Xuanji nodded. Under the night, the lights flickered like stars. In a cave in the Yi family, Yi Chenai looked a little haggard, with traces of crying in her eyes. She wanted to change something, but she couldn't change it after all. Not long ago, she received a notice from the giant and ancestor of the Yi family, that she and Yi Wanai would marry Lu Xuanji, the Xianjiao of the Lu family. After receiving the news, she was puzzled at first. Many cultivators of the Yi family were also puzzled, but after the notice of the Yi family ancestor, many people swallowed their puzzlement. Why does the giant and ancestor need to explain what he does? They couldn't ask the giant and ancestor to explain anything. The Yi family is much stronger than the Lu family. It is impossible for someone to force the Yi family to make a golden elixir. The only reason is that the ancestor Yi Xuanzi feels guilty and wants to compensate Lu Xuanji in this way. Yi Chenai thought, but why does the ancestor feel guilty about Lu Xuanji? Some guesses. But when it comes to certain things, it turns into confusion. But the ancestor has already given the order and does not allow her to refuse at all. If I guess correctly, the ancestor Yi Xuanzi has nothing to do with Lu Xuanji and cannot feel guilty. The only possibility is that Yi Linglang did something and felt guilty about Yi Xuanji. So as a father, Yi Xuanzi wants to make up for Lu Xuanji, so we sisters married Lu Xuanji together. Yi Linglang feels guilty about others, but she asked us two sisters to go and compensate. But what did Yi Linglang do to feel guilty? Yi Chenai said puzzledly. Thinking, she could not find the answer, but the anger in her heart was also increasing. Yi Linglang did something and felt guilty, but she asked her sisters to make up for it. What kind of logic is this? Resentment was increasing. This was unfair. But could she resist all this? No. Although there were the elders who could restrain Yi Xuanzi, and there was also a giant and ancestor who could also restrain Yi Xuanzi. But they would not speak up, and would not have conflicts with Yi Xuanzi, because of this little thing. I'm not willing to accept this. Anger flashed in Yi Chenai's eyes, and tears flowed from her eyes. In the Yi family, only grandpa treated me as a relative, and loved me very much. But just 10 years ago, grandpa passed away, and the person who loved me also disappeared. There is nothing left for the Yi family to miss. Thinking of this, she wiped the tears from her face. She packed up her things and put them into the storage bag. Taking advantage of the night, Yi Chenai disappeared in the distance. At this moment, Yi Liuan appeared, looking at the disappearing shadow in the distance, but he was silent. He knew some inside stories, but it was precisely because he knew that he chose to default. Yi Chenyu is gone. The clan leader said, do we need to catch her back? No need. Yi Liuan said, if she wants to leave, then leave. Let's part ways amicably, but kick her out of the clan tree. The next day, in the garden, spirit wine and dishes were served. A woman sat opposite, wearing a white dress and looking weak. It was Yuan Yi. Miss, I'm sorry. Originally, Yi Linglong had just passed away, and I shouldn't have thought about other things, but for the Lu family, I must participate in this blind date, and you have to participate in this blind date too. Lu Xuanji spoke, his words were full of apology. I understand. Yuan Yi nodded and said, for the benefit of the family, our feelings are nothing. I was originally a lady from a wealthy family in the mortal world, and my parents were both mortals. But when the Yi family tested my spiritual roots, they found out that I had 2 spiritual roots, so I joined the Yi family. The Yi family treated me well. I became a foundation building cultivator, standing above millions of people. My family has treated me well, and I should give back to the family. Originally, Yi Linglong planned to make me your concubine and accompany her to marry you, but now it's good. I will be promoted directly from a concubine to a Taoist partner, which is pretty good. Thank you for your understanding. Lu Xuanji said. This time, Lu Xuans, the ancestor of the Lu family, sent a message asking me and Yi Chenyu to marry you together. He didn't tell me the reason, but I guess they did something to let you down, and they can only compensate you in this way. Yuan Yi said, I just hope you don't blame them. And Yi Chenyu didn't want to marry you and ran away. I hope you don't blame her. It doesn't matter. I'm not a spirit stone. How could every girl like me? Lu Xuanji said, I respect Yi Chenyu's choice. People should be a little selfish. Chapter 164 Yuan Yi. We'll get married in 3 months. Yuan Yi said. Shouldn't we get to know each other better? This is too fast. Lu Xuanji frowned. Fast? Not at all. After we get married, we'll spend every day together and naturally get to know each other better. Yuan Yi said. Okay. Lu Xuanji could only nod. When we become purple mansions, we will officially become Taoist couples. Yuan Yi shook her head and said, no need, purple mansion is too far away. It would be best if we can get married in 3 months, and it would be best if I can bear a child for you within 3 years. As for purple mansion, forget it. What do you think of my aptitude? Am I qualified to become purple mansion? Lu Xuanji said, you have good aptitude and have a chance to become purple mansion. Good aptitude is only for those with 3 spiritual roots. Among the cultivators with 2 spiritual roots, my aptitude is at the bottom. The cultivators with 2 spiritual roots are just qualified to become purple mansion. In fact, for 1 out of 10 cultivators with 2 spiritual roots to become a purple mansion cultivator, it's good. Yuan Yi said, my parents are just mortals and cannot provide me with too many resources. Among the cultivators with 2 spiritual roots, my aptitude is also at the bottom. I remember when we were dating more than 30 years ago, I was 140 years old and was only at the peak of the 5th level of foundation building. Later, I agreed to let Yi Linglong become your concubine. With more resources, I spent 30 years to enter the 9th level of foundation building, but there were no elixirs needed for foundation building. My probability of entering the purple mansion is very low, less than 1 level. I no longer have extravagant hopes for the purple mansion. I just want to have a child and become a mother. Many female cultivators are born in immortal families. They are independent and self-reliant. They are indifferent to love and offspring. But Yuan Yi was born as a mortal in her youth. She has a deep concept of offspring and wants to be a mother. Over the years, she has also met many cultivators. However, cultivators with poor qualifications and poor cultivation dare not look up to her. As for those cultivators with excellent qualifications and long cultivation, they keep their distance from female cultivators like her who have no background. Until Yi Linglong opened her mouth and wanted her to become Lu Xuanji's concubine, she only thought for a moment and agreed. One was for cultivation resources, and the other was for the wish of being a mother. It's just that, after losing your virginity, your probability of entering the purple mansion has decreased a little. Xuanji said. Could it be that I have a higher chance of entering the purple palace if I keep my pure yin body? Xuanji said calmly. Geniuses like my husband are a minority after all. Geniuses have their own way of living, while mortals have their own way of living. Geniuses think about the stars and the sea, while mortals like us only think about firewood, rice, oil and salt. You see it clearly, but I can't see it clearly. Xuanji nodded. The two hit it off and made a vow to become Taoist companions. They will share life and death and support each other, never give up. After parting, Xuanji reported to the elder, who laughed. Xuanji finally got married. Family cultivation is not sect cultivation, not individual cultivation. Individual cultivation, if one person is full, the whole family will not be hungry. They may gather with some female cultivators, but they will not give birth to offspring. More sons, more troubles, more cause and effect. Sect cultivation is mainly based on forming gangs and factions, relying on the master-disciple relationship to gather together and condense into a whole. But the family cultivation is connected by blood. Back then, the ancestor of the Lu family, Lu Changsheng, was just a foundation building cultivator. He married 3 female cultivators and gave birth to a large number of children, which led to the current Lu family cultivation. But now, many family members are busy with cultivation and are very indifferent to love between men and women, and are even more indifferent to having children. As a result, the family cultivator population is insufficient, and there is a lack of successors, and there are many problems. If this continues, the Lu family may go to extinction due to insufficient population in a few hundred years. In particular, the patriarch Xuanji has been single all the time, which is really worrying for him. Sometimes, he regrets improper education, which led to Xuanji's excessive obsession with cultivation, ignoring love between men and women, and being insensitive to love. If he had taught more knowledge at the beginning, Xuanji would have more than a dozen concubines and dozens of children, and the Lu family would have prospered long ago. The elder was excited and began to make arrangements. Soon, everything was arranged properly, and guests were invited. The nearby close cultivation families sent notes one after another, asking him to carefully manage the party. 3 months passed quickly. The wedding was being planned, and it was very lively. On Xiang Mountain, Xuanji flipped through the invitations. A trace of disappointment and anger flashed in her eyes. She felt like she was being cheated on. Are you jealous? Qinglian appeared, still wearing a veil on her face, and wearing a black robe, hiding herself in the darkness. Yes, I have a latent affection for Xuanji, and I have already regarded him as a potential Taoist partner, but now it's good. Xuanji has directly intervened. What is this? Xuanji said, standing up, burning with anger, angry, and the leaves around her rustled. In the past, when she first met Xuanji, the plum blossom issue, divination was auspicious. So, she helped Xuanji a little. But later, he won the 3 levels, and showed his style of a genius. In the Beast Tide, he fought fiercely with the genius of the Demon Clan, and intimidated the world. At that time, she felt a little moved. But later, when she confirmed that he was the reincarnation of the spirit, her heartbeat intensified. When Xuanji broke into the Yuhua Tower and presented her with the 7th grade spiritual treasure, pure and tranquil lotus platform, her heartbeat was rising to the point of devoting herself to him. She even silently prayed in her heart that when Xuanji became a golden elixir, she would directly marry him. But now, a woman named Xuanji has snatched him away. In terms of beauty, I'm much better than Xuanji. In terms of wealth, I have much more than Xuanji. In terms of cultivation, I'm much better than Xuanji. In terms of talent, I'm much higher than Xuanji. But I lost to him. Xuanji said, with anger flashing in her eyes, and a hint of rage. Why don't you go and grab the bride now? Qinglian smiled and said with a hint of teasing, if you go and grab the bride, no one can be your opponent. But I can't. Xuanji said, I haven't forgotten the family feud. Besides, it's not suitable for us to be together now. Thinking that soon, the woman would be lying in Xuanji's arms, she felt sad and her heart was aching. Qinglian didn't feel it, and said teasingly, time is on your side. What if Xuanji died first? Her qualifications are limited. She is okay in the Purple Palace, but there is little hope for her to enter the Golden Core. After a few hundred years, Xuanji will pass away, and Lu Xuanji will be yours again. Only you can accompany her all the way, to become a Golden Core, an Ascent Soul, and even a God of Transformation. She can't outlast you. There is no need for palace fighting, no need for beauty calculations, just to endure time, and you can outlast many rivals in love. Xuanji was silent and still didn't speak. She was not generous, but very stingy. Because of her stinginess, her heart was aching. At this time, Yi Xuan walked in and said, "Master, Lu Xuanji is getting married soon. Should we send someone to celebrate?" "No." Xuanji said angrily, "If I don't go, you won't go either." "Master, this is not good." Yi Xuan said. "No, I won't go." Xuanji said. Yi Xuan had no choice but to leave. The master has been a little demented recently. It's better not to provoke her and leave. Yi Xuan could only leave, arrange gifts, and let Liu Hongyi go to celebrate. Chapter 165 Happy Wedding. On Changyuan Mountain, the lights were lit, and every member of the Lu family was happy. The elder and other elders of the Lu family were entertaining the guests. First, bow to heaven and earth. Second, bow to parents. Husband and wife bow to each other. Sent to the bridal chamber. After completing the ceremony, Xuanji entered the bridal chamber under the guidance of the female family members. Lu Xuanji was receiving the guests. At midnight, it was almost time. He walked towards the bridal chamber. He opened the door and saw Xuanji sitting quietly on the bed. Lu Xuanji took off the red veil and threw it aside, revealing the beautiful face of the beauty. Lu Xuanji came to the bed and leaned against her, less than 1 centimeter away from each other. He took off the wedding gown and put it aside and said directly, "Xuanji, call me husband. Husband. Good boy." Then, they kissed each other, a lingering kiss. After a long time, the two separated. She was slightly panting, and her face was a little flushed. "Let's take a break," Lu Xuanji said, and stepped forward to take off her shoes and socks. "Don't do that." Xuanji smiled, feeling a little itchy, and couldn't help curling up on the bed. Lu Xuanji also went to the bed. The two leaned against each other tightly. "Husband, do you have a girl you like?" Xuanji asked. Some shadows of women flashed through Lu Xuanji's mind, including Yi Fixu, Yi Linglong, and the one who just flashed by and disappeared. Men all have the dream of having 3 wives and 4 concubines, but most people just dream. Only a few people turn the dream into reality. Some people are jealous and call it vulgar. Some envy and call it romantic. Envy and not getting it, call it the seeking. Thinking back to those women, some are too far away physically, and some are too far away psychologically. Only Xuanji in front of him is less than a foot away from him. Right in front of him is a delicious snack, close to his mouth, and he can eat it with his mouth open. Click. Without explaining anything, he kissed directly. "Husband, will you treat me well?" "Yes." A night of romance. When he woke up the next day, he felt a faint warmth when he felt a beauty beside him. At this time, the beauty was by his side. Even Yi Fixu, Yi Linglong, and the shadow of that person had disappeared a lot. "Husband." Xuanji woke up, and a blush flashed across her face. Getting up became very difficult. Enjoying the happiness of the new lives, he was tireless for 3 consecutive months. After the 4th month, the elder could no longer bear it, and directly pulled him into the medicine garden to start ripening the spiritual medicine. In desperation, he started to ripen the spiritual medicine, but he was absent-minded and felt like sitting on a stove. After 2 months, the ripening was finally finished. When he returned to the cave, he saw Xuanji again. A day without seeing each other was like 3 years, let alone 3 months. After the battle stopped, Lu Xuanji opened the storage bag and wanted to find something, but when he saw a golden paper, he slapped his head and said, "Why did I forget yin-yang transformation?" Some cases have proved that, if people become stupid, they may not be as good as pigs. If someone is stupid, the lower limit will exceed the imagination of the world. Yin-yang transformation is the fundamental practice of the Hehuan demon. It is very beneficial for men and women to improve each other's cultivation. It not only improves cultivation, but also improves soul power, talent and qualifications. It is a first-class practice. On the wedding night, the two sides practice together. The benefits are the greatest. Unfortunately, Xuanji was obsessed with the affairs of men and women and forgot. A month later, the benefits were still great. But Xuanji was still obsessed with the gentle country and forgot. What is yin-yang transformation? It's a practice for two people to rest. I'll teach you. The first step is to rest your true essence. Xuanji was about to speak, but at the moment of speaking, he couldn't say the content. Unspeakable. Xuanji nodded, as if she thought of something. Xuanji, I'll guide you, Xuanji said, and began to lead Xuanji to rest. This step seems easy. In fact, it is very difficult. Both parties need to let go of their guard and trust each other to rest their true essence. According to the setting of the old demon Helen, the love between men and women is divided into 11 levels, including deep hatred as deep as the sea, resentment as high as the sky, like strangers, nodding acquaintances, quite fond of, deep fond of, secretly in love, special love. Love is stronger than gold, love is deeper than the sea, promise to be together through life and death, never forget each other in all lives, and always be together after breaking out of the cocoon and becoming a butterfly. Hatred is as deep as the sea, the emotional index is -30. Resentment is overwhelming, the emotional index is -20. Just like a stranger, the emotional index is 0. Acquaintance, the emotional index is 5. Have a good impression, the emotional index is 10. Have a deep impression, the emotional index is 20. Secretly in love, the emotional index is 30. Have a special liking for her, the emotional index is 40. Love is stronger than gold, the emotional index is 60. Love is deeper than the sea, the emotional index is 70. Promise of life and death, the emotional index is 90. Never forget each other in all lives, break the cocoon, and become a butterfly, and always follow each other, the emotional index is 100. In the description of yin-yang transformation, in order to complete the first step, the true essence is double rest. And the emotional level must reach secretly in love. In order to complete the second step, the soul is double rest, and the emotional level must reach special liking. As for the third step, the origin is double rest, and the emotional level must reach deep love. Xuanji estimated that among the women he had contacted, only Yifixu reached the level of love is deeper than the sea. Yi Linglang may just be quite favorable, and as for Xuanji, she is also just quite favorable. In the 6 months of marriage, the relationship between the two has warmed up, and Xuanji may have reached the point of secretly in love, meeting the first step of the double day requirement. Xuanji led it down, failed 5 times in a row, and succeeded on the 6th time. Sensing the trace of affection in Xuanji, he continued to move from secretly in love to special love. Chapter 166 Wuji Taishang. On the bed, a man and a woman sat face to face, with their palms together. As yin-yang transformation operated, the spiritual energy in the void entered Xuanji's acupoints, and then was refined into the danshan, turning into a trace of true essence, which then flowed into Xuanji's body along the palm, and after swimming around, it flowed back into the body again. The two people had different skills, different cultivations, and different true essences. There were too many differences, but under the operation of yin-yang transformation, they were perfectly integrated together. At the beginning, the true essence did not flow smoothly, and the cultivation speed was not only not fast, but very slow. But as they gradually got into the rhythm, the cultivation speed was accelerating. It was faster than practicing alone. One level faster may not seem like much, but it is actually a lot. For example, for a foundation building cultivator, it takes an average of 20 years to improve one level, and it takes 180 years to reach the peak of foundation building. But one level faster means that the time is reduced from 180 years to 163 years, saving nearly 20 years. The lifespan of the foundation building period is originally short, and saving 20 years is of great significance. As their true essences were surging, their true essences began to merge together and become a whole. Xuanji was at the 9th level of foundation building, and Xuanji was at the 7th level. When their true essences were connected, it was like the high surface of a lake flowing rapidly toward the low surface of the lake. Suddenly, Xuanji felt that his cultivation speed had increased. It only took 3 months to break through the bottleneck and enter the 8th level of foundation building. This speed was much faster than expected. Similarly, Xuanji was also surprised because her husband's cultivation was not high, only the 7th level of foundation building, but his true essence was extremely pure, with a purity of the 7th level. It was somewhat unimaginable that such a pure true essence appeared in a cultivator at the 7th level of foundation building. As a large amount of pure true essence entered her body, it helped her to refine her true essence. The purity of her true essence was increasing layer by layer. Originally, Xuanji estimated that it would take 10 years to polish her true essence, purify her true essence, and compress her true essence to the 8th level, and then she could enter the half-step purple mansion. But with the current speed of progress, it only takes 5 years to enter the half-step purple palace. Whoosh! At this moment, white flames burned on Xuanji's body, and the flames were about to enter her body along the true essence. Xuanji was slightly surprised. The next moment, Xuanji's voice came. Don't panic. Xuanji gave up resistance and let the white flames burn the meridians, the danshan, the internal organs, the flesh and blood, and the true essence. A tingling feeling came, and a sense of provocation came, and the whole body was sweating. The body was shaking slightly, and the whole body was sweating. Soon the clothes were soaked. But Xuanji gritted her teeth and remained unmoved. After a long time, she adapted to this environment. At this time, black dirt appeared on her body, and there were some dead skin and some other things on the dirt. Xuanji's heart flashed with horror, and after the horror, there was a kind of secret joy. Pure Yang Taoist body. Xuanji thought of the Taoist book, which recorded a special physique. Pure Yang Dao body is one of the 9 top Dao bodies. Its attack power is average, but it is the birth of pure Yang fire, which can cleanse the marrow and remove hair, temper the flesh, and temper the true essence, and improve the speed of cultivation. Under the tempering of pure Yang fire, it only takes 2 years to enter the half-step purple mansion. Pure Yang Dao body is extremely beneficial to female cultivators. If the news that Xuanji has pure Yang Dao body is leaked, there may be high-level female cultivators in the purple mansion who are willing to marry him as a Taoist partner. Don't be afraid of being laughed at. For the purpose of improving your cultivation, what is the face and reserve? Now it seems that she has taken advantage. But didn't she say that her husband was a mortal body at the beginning? How did he become a pure Yang Dao body? Maybe her husband concealed all this perfectly. In the past 6 months, she has been in love with her husband and had close contact with each other, but she didn't find anything special about her husband. If the pure Yang fire hadn't been exposed, she might not have discovered that her husband was a pure Yang Dao body. With the help of the true essence, 3 months later, Xuanji entered the 8th level of foundation building. It took a full 18 years to go from the 7th level to the 8th level. The later the cultivation, the longer it takes. 1 year later, Xuanji broke the shackles, purified the true essence to the 8th level, and entered the half-step purple mansion. After becoming the purple mansion, Xuanji excitedly stepped forward, hugged him, kissed him, and seemed to cry with excitement. Husband, thank you. Originally, I have poor aptitude and no background. Cultivating to the 9th level of foundation building is the limit. As for the purple mansion realm, there is little hope. My savings are only enough to buy a purple mansion pill, and the probability of achieving the purple mansion is less than 1 level. But with the help of my husband, I have at least a 3-level probability of becoming a purple mansion. Hugging him, Xuanji cried excitedly, crying loudly. Background is very important. A cultivator with background can take the foundation building pill and impact the foundation building. But a casual cultivator without background, a cultivator from a small family, has no money to buy the foundation building pill, so he can only force the foundation building and try his luck to see if he is a European emperor or an unlucky person. In the Yi family, some cultivators have parents to buy pure Yang pill, purple mansion pill, nirvana pill, etc. Her parents are still mortals, and she can't rely on them. She can only make money by making talismans by herself. Over the years, the accumulated spirit stones are only enough to buy a purple mansion pill. Originally, she didn't have much hope of impacting the purple mansion. But with the help of her husband, she has hope again. Xuanji hugged her and kissed her. The Taoist sect has the 36 styles of Dongsun, the Dragon and Phoenix book, the Yin and Yang creation secret, etc., which explain the way of double rest. The demon sect has the Yin and Yang chaotic love secret, the supreme forget love, the heavenly ring confusion secret, etc., which tell the secret of double rest. Especially the double rest of the soul, which requires extremely high requirements for cultivators. It must reach. Love is stronger than gold. Because only when the affection is deeply revealed, can the two sides blend their spirits and souls together, and can they perfectly match the secret of yin and yang. If there is even a slight resistance, it will be difficult to continue. When yin and yang change to the second step, it is not only the double rest of the true essence, but also the double rest of the mind and thoughts. Under this double rest, the spirit and soul are close to the Tao, coexisting with the Tao, and the mind is extremely active. Things that were not understood in the past are now fully understood. Things that were not understood in the past are now fully understood. Chapter 167 Love. It was as if he had grown wings and flew high into the sky. His sight kept rising, looking down at everything below. There are narrow and broad definitions of double rest. In the narrow sense, it means that men and women take a double rest to improve their cultivation together, but in the broad sense, it means that they complement each other's strengths and make progress together. The unity of man and nature is the double rest of cultivators and heaven and earth. Cultivators borrow the law from heaven and earth to become stronger. Heaven and earth use the help of cultivators to make up for their own shortcomings, making heaven and earth more perfect. When cultivators embark on the path of cultivation, they are also on the path of double rest between man and heaven and earth. Heaven is yang, earth is yin, outside is yang, inside is yin, heat is yang, cold is yin, air is yang, blood is yin. Among the five elements, wood and fire are yang, gold and water are yin, and earth is neutral, half yin and half yang. Time is yin, space is yang. Yin and yang can be transformed into each other, so can time be transformed into space, and space into time. In a trance, the elevated thinking was falling back to the original position. At this moment, Xuanji felt his soul move slightly, and there was a faint sight above his soul, entwined on it. This thread was very weak and almost imperceptible, but Xuanji still felt it. This thread entwined on his soul was the most mysterious existence between heaven and earth, the most subtle thing in the feelings of sentient beings. Love thread, entwined on his soul. It came from Yuan. He sensed 3 more love threads, one from Yi Fixu, one from Yi Linglong, and one from that person. Love threads are invisible and intangible, and cannot be touched or sensed. They are difficult to grasp and elusive. Sensing these 3 love threads, the endless affection was transmitted, with the taste of the confusion of the world. Love threads are something that cannot be seen by the flesh and the soul. Only when the mind has cultivated to the most mysterious realm can it be felt. Only when the feelings reach the level of love at first sight, and above will love threads be left on the other person. Love threads are entangled. There are thousands of them. The ups and downs of the world. What is the sea of suffering? Love threads are entangled, turning into a love net. The love net is hard to break. The higher the wisdom, the more cultivators fall in the love tribulation. If the love threads are not handled well, at the least, it will be difficult to make any progress in cultivation, and at the worst, it will be death. At this moment, Xuanji thought of some words recorded in Yin-Yang Transformation. The way of double rest originated from the impulse of carnal desire, and was formed by the mutual affection, and the love threads were entangled, transformed into mandarin ducks and butterflies, evolved into the shape of Tekai Pisces, supplementing yin with yang, and supplementing yang with yin. Without love threads, there is no way to double rest, and only when love threads are entangled, can the supreme road be maintained. The cultivators in the world work hard to prove the Tao, and live for immortality, but I live to keep the Tao. It is difficult to prove the Tao, and it is even more difficult to keep the Tao. People's hearts are easy to change, and the Tao is difficult to keep. The way of double rest is divided into 3 factions. One is the way of affection, one is the way of ruthlessness, and one is the way of forgetting love. On the affectionate path, the entanglement of affection turns into a spiritual fetter, which turns into a beacon of the avenue. The avenue is boundless, and the sea of suffering is hard to cross. If a cultivator walks alone in the sea of suffering, he will easily get lost and lose his original heart. Looking at the lighthouse in the distance, he can keep his original heart unchanged on the ruthless path. Affection is wrapped around the fingertips. Abandoning affection, abandoning spiritual fetters, and seeking freedom on the forgetful path. Being in the same predicament, supporting each other, where true affection lies, but returning to the rivers and lakes, forgetting love immediately, being free on their own, and only having faint memories left. This is lust without being lewd, and being affectionate without being promiscuous. On the affectionate path, it is the way of the right way. On the ruthless path, it is the way of the side door. On the forgetful path, it is the technique of the left way. Those with affection can expect to achieve Daluo. Those without affection can expect to become immortals. Those who forget affection will only reach the peak of Yuanying. There are countless affectionate ways, but no one can succeed. There are many who become immortals, but many who fail in the way of without affection. There are many who become immortals thinking back to these. Xuanji already had the answer in his heart. His character has determined the final answer. The answer is clear. On the bed, the true energy blended together, the soul blended together, the yin and yang blended together, and the emotions blended together. In an instant, Xuanji saw through Xuanji's mind and thoughts, the changes in his inner thoughts, and the ups and downs of his mind. The soul of this Taoist companion was like a big sun, open and magnanimous, without a trace of filth or distortion, and with broadness and majesty. At the same moment, Xuanji was also familiar with his wife's mind, feeling the growth of grass and trees, the vastness of the earth, the longing for love, and the hope for a better future. The true energy blended together, the soul blended together, and the heart blended together. Ding ding ding. At this moment, Xuanji's heart was agitated, and a vision evolved behind her. In the vision, there were musical notes flying, and a phoenix was chasing another phoenix, dancing up and down with each other. As the musical notes flashed, bursts of piano music appeared in the void. It was Phoenix seeking Phoenix. The Phoenix cried long, with deep love, and the love threads were intertwined. The love threads were increasing, and more love threads turned into an overwhelming love net, entangled. Love is increasing, from love is special, to love is stronger than gold. The heart is resonating. The love threads turned into a love net, sweeping over. At this moment, there are 2 choices. One is to let the love threads wrap around the fingertips, cut the love threads with the sword of wisdom, and forget about love. The other is to refine the love threads with the soul, and fall into the love net. Xuanji did not dodge, but directly urged the soul to refine the love net, and as the love threads merged into the soul, as the love threads entered the soul, his love for Xuanji was also increasing. At this moment, Feng Kui Huang changed and became Guanju, expressing strong love. However, at the peak of the music, the 2 ended their weekend. This feeling was very mysterious. After the joy, Xuanji lay beside Xuanji and said, "It's great to have you here. Since my parents passed away, I have felt lonely. Linglong, Chelayu, Bingan, Xiaoxiao and others are very good to me, but I just feel a little alienated from them. But with you, I have a home." "Me too," Xuanji said. "I have been practicing Taoism for almost 150 years, but I still can't see through some things. Husband, you are really my benefactor. After spending a weekend with you, I not only entered the half-step purple mansion, but also condensed a vision, and the probability of entering the purple mansion increased from the 1st level to the 3rd level. As long as I retreat for 20 years, I can enter the purple mansion." Xuanji said, "The vision I condensed has 3 changes, starting with Phoenix seeking Phoenix, with lingering affection. The climax is Guan Guan Jujiu, with the joy of fish and water, and love entangled, the curtain ends at." Speaking of this, it turned into reluctance. Because of the lack of the 3rd change, the vision is incomplete. But she would rather have an incomplete vision than condense the 3rd change. The third change would be, forget each other in the world. I'm right. Xuanji said. Chapter 168. Give me a reason. When tens of millions of years have passed, looking back on the past, the once deep memories will fade away, and the once strong love and desire will become dim. Xuanji sighed. When love is strong, it will turn thin. It is better to forget each other in the world. Mortals have a 7-year itch. Love will enter a dangerous period after 7 years. From that kind of passionate love, it will become dull, and then boring, and reach a period of burnout, and experience an emotional crisis. You can perform Phoenix seeking Phoenix, Xuanji, and forgetting each other in the rivers and lakes, which means you have good understanding, but the pattern is still a little lacking. Xuanji said. The third change should be transformation into a butterfly. The highest realm of love is never forget each other in life after life. Break the cocoon and become a butterfly forever. Many loves, when they reach the moment of love is stronger than gold, will not rise, but will regress, regressing to nodding acquaintance, like strangers, and some people will even regress to resentment to the sky. But there is a kind of love that will change from love is stronger than gold to love is deeper than the sea to promise of life and death to never forget each other in life after life. Break the cocoon and become a butterfly forever. This song is called Transformation into a Butterfly. Taking out the gukin, Xuanji began to play it, and pictures appeared in the void, which was the story of Liang Shanbo and Zhu Yingtai. When the sound of the gukin ended, Xuanji's face was full of tears. Husband, is there really such a love code in the world? Never forget each other in life, break the cocoon, and become a butterfly, and stay together forever? Xuanji asked with tears in her eyes. Yes. Xuanji said. There was a monk named Baiyu. He was the most pitiful. He felt the existence of love before he died. He didn't feel love, not because there was no love in the world. Love was around, but prejudice blocked the love in his heart. There is a story called the Condor Heroes. There is a story called the Demigods and Semi-Devils. There is a story called the God King chasing his wife. Xuanji tells touching stories. Only Jindara can make Xiao Longnu lose her virginity and make the pig's feet cuckolded. As for the later generations of platinum gods and the like, who dared to do so would be chopped to death by readers in minutes. Later, Jindara directly wrote in the serialized version that it was Xiao Longnu, but readers disagreed, so he changed it. Comedy makes people happy, but also makes people forgetful. Tragedy, on the other hand, is shocking and memorable. The 4 great classics are also the 4 great tragedies. This is why many authors end up writing tragedies. If Cao Feng hadn't died, Demigods and Semi-Devils would have been just a second-rate novel. Cao Feng's death would have been an eternal classic. The story of the God King chasing his wife is also a classic. This great Tang God King has a double-standard personality, no overall view, and a very broken character, but he treats his wife very well. Cao Feng couldn't even die for his wife. The first person who could do this was Huang Yaoshi, who made a flower boat to die for his wife. The second was Yang Jiuo, who jumped off a cliff for Xiao Longnu, and the third was Jiuo Xiang, who jumped off a cliff for Yang Jiuo. In the end, Jiuo Xiang couldn't find Yang Jiuo, which was also a tragedy. Some people say that in ancient times, there were 3 wives and 4 concubines, and Yang Jiuo married Xiao Longnu and Jiuo Xiang together, giving readers a perfect ending, which was not bad. But Jin wanted to have a tragedy, and torture readers. The perfect ending made the Condor Heroes just a third-rate harem story. The tragedy ended, but it was an eternal classic. It's like a certain great writer who is best at writing tragedies. In Xuanji, the heroine was killed directly. In Xuan, 2 female protagonists were killed. In Perfect World, the protagonist died twice in a row, which tortured the readers. As the saying goes, I tortured the readers thousands of times, and the readers loved me like their first love. Do you really think that writing tragedies is literary? It's not at all. That great writer is just so-so in terms of literary talent, but because he is good at depicting tragedies, he has attracted countless fans. At the end of the story, Xuanji was in tears. Xuanji patted her gently and comforted her to his heart's content. In terms of age, Xuanji is over 180 years old, but in terms of psychological age, she is only 18 years old. In this world, where great power belongs to oneself, only those monks who have exhausted their potential and can't see the way forward will spend their time on managing power and conspiracy. Those geniuses are in seclusion and hard work, mainly improving their cultivation, and rarely waste time on human relationships and connections. As a result, they appear a little simple in their psychological age. Husband, I was wrong. Xuanji nodded, and the vision above her head changed. First, there was the scorching heat of Phoenix seeking Phoenix, then the burning of Xuanju Jiu, and finally the life and death of transformation into a butterfly. The three changes merged together and turned into a perfect vision. If there is a foundation building cultivator who condenses a vision by chance, the probability of entering the purple mansion will be greatly increased. What should this vision be called? Xuanji asked. This vision should be called Golden Jade Marriage. Xuanji named it directly. After saying that, a faint envy flashed in his eyes. Why? I don't have a vision. The vision is the prototype of one's own Tao, which increases one's own combat power and can suppress the opponent's combat power. Promoting the vision is quite advantageous in battle. Most Purple Mansion cultivators have no chance to condense a vision. Only a few Purple Mansion Xuanji condense a vision by chance. As for entering the Golden Core, most cultivators condense a vision. When reaching the level of Yuaning's engine, the vision also has a certain combat power. As for how to condense the vision, those who know it will understand it, even if they don't say it, and those who don't know it will not understand it, even if they say it. After a year of joy, Xuanji took Xuanji to Xiang Mountain. When they arrived at Xiang Mountain, everything was still the same. When they arrived at the manor, they met Xuan and told her the purpose of their visit. Xuan nodded and went to report. As a result, Jin Liaozu was in seclusion and had no chance to approach him. It was not until 3 months later that Jin Liaozu came out of seclusion. This meeting was in the hall. Jin Liaozu sat on the throne, wearing a blue dress with gold edges on the edge of the dress and silver stars inside. Sitting there was a sense of alienation in his majesty. Xuanji said respectfully, "Greetings, ancestor. This is my Taoist partner Xuanji. Xuanji, why don't you give me the gift?" Xuanji nodded and said, "Greetings, ancestor. This is a gift from my husband." Jin Liaozu nodded, waved his hand and the gift fell to the side, and he didn't look at it carefully. "Tell me, what's the matter?" asked Patriarch Jin, his tone much colder. Xuanji muttered in his heart, but still said, "Ancestor, my Taoist companion Xuanji needs to borrow the Nirvana pool." "Okay." Patriarch Jin nodded and said, "But you need to give me a reason. Why should I enter the Nirvana pool?" Chapter 169 Nirvana Pool. 9 difficulties of the Purple Mansion. The first difficulty is the lack of lifespan. Many foundation building cultivators cannot enter the 9th level of foundation building before their lifespan is exhausted, let alone the impact on the Purple Mansion. As for the next step, purifying the true essence, opening up the meridians, opening up the acupoints, tempering the soul, etc., there is almost no difficulty. Those who have money can buy pure yang pills, Purple Mansion pills, etc., which can save a lot of time. Those who have no money spend more time to open these levels. But when it comes to the Heavenly Fire difficulty, Nightmare Wind difficulty, Heavenly Man difficulty, etc., if they fail, they will inevitably die. At this moment, Nirvana pills are needed to save their lives, to break and then stand up. If there is a Nirvana pool, the probability of success is higher. At the beginning, Yi Linglang fell on the Heavenly Man difficulty. Even if there are Nirvana pills and Nirvana pools, they can only increase the success rate, but cannot guarantee success. There are Nirvana pools in Danliang sect and Yi family, but it costs a lot to open a Nirvana pool, at least 300,000 spirit stones, and Xuanji has no money. There are many cultivators at the 9th level of foundation building, and they need to make reservations and queue up, so Xuanji can't get a turn. When Jin Liaozu asked for the reason, Xuanji could say that he had some reasons. For example, in the future, he would become a Purple Mansion, or even a Golden Elixir, and he would definitely repay Jin Liaozu. But the moment he opened his mouth, he shut up. This is a blank check. It is difficult to determine which will happen first, the future or death. There are too many cases of falling halfway and making the check uncashed. I have the qualifications of a golden elixir, and I have the qualifications of a primordial infant, but as long as I don't reach that step, no matter how high my talent is, it is just a blank check. Ancestor, what do you want? Lu Xuanji asked. What can you give me? Jin Liaozu asked. I'm only at the 8th level of foundation building. My family has limited money and cannot give you too much. Lu Xuanji said. I have no money and no life. You can do whatever you want, old ancestor. Old ancestor Jin smiled, as if seeing Lu Xuanji's frustrated look. He was very happy and said, since you come to me for help, I will naturally help you. The Nirvana pool will be open to her, but there are still people queuing now, and it will be free in 10 years. 10 years later, you will just enter the 9th level of foundation building, and the place in the Nirvana pool was originally prepared for you. But if she uses it, there will be no place for you. Are you really going to do this? He said with a somewhat cold tone. Okay. It's not a big problem. The Nirvana pool is dispensable to me. Lu Xuanji said. When impacting the purple mansion, you need pure yang pills, purple mansion pills, nirvana pools, etc. These external objects increase the success rate, but without these external objects, can you not become a purple mansion? No. It just takes time, which is relatively more difficult. At the beginning, when Yi Fixu impacted the purple mansion, she did not rely on external objects, but she still became a purple mansion. Husband, you should go. Don't give the quota to me. Yi Wanai said. Be good. I have good qualifications, and don't need these external objects. Lu Xuanji said. Do you know why I value you? Ancestor Jin said calmly, because your innate soul is strong, which is 3 times that of your peers. Because of your strong soul, the probability of breaking through the purple mansion far exceeds that of other cultivators. Even without the help of external objects, you can enter the middle grade purple mansion. If there are some seniors to support you, you can enter the upper grade purple mansion. If you condense a high grade purple mansion, you will have a chance of achieving the 3rd level of the golden elixir in the future. But if you lose the Nirvana pool, you may only be able to forge a mid-grade purple mansion. Do you still want to be humble? You can be humble about anything, but you can't be humble about the chance to achieve enlightenment. Do you still want to do this? Please help me, ancestor. Lu Xuanji said calmly. Husband, you don't have to do this. I can condense a purple mansion without the Nirvana pool. Yi Wanai said. But that's only a low-grade purple mansion. If you use the Nirvana pool, you can at least condense a mid-grade purple mansion. Lu Xuanji said. His words were firm. The purple mansion is divided into 3 grades. The lower grade purple mansion, the middle grade purple mansion, and the upper grade purple mansion. The lower grade purple mansion has limited potential, and is not likely to become a golden elixir. The middle grade purple mansion has a 1-layer probability of becoming a golden elixir. The upper grade purple mansion has a 3-layer probability of becoming a golden elixir. Most of those who have achieved the golden elixir have condensed the upper grade purple mansion. Very few have the middle grade purple mansion. Since you are a Taoist partner, you have to consider your Taoist partner's path. Your Taoist partner has limited qualifications and limited prospects. Even if I open the Nirvana pool, the probability of condensing a middle grade purple mansion is less than 1 layer. Ancestor Jin sighed. Qualifications determine a person's upper limit. A snake works hard all its life, but it is still a snake, and cannot become a dragon. A crow works hard all its life, but it is still a crow, and cannot become a phoenix. Under the condition of sufficient resource supply, it will only allow cultivators to reach the limit of their own potential as soon as possible, but will not help cultivators break the limit. Ancestor, Wanai has changed. Lu Xuanji said confidently. She has broken the upper limit of her potential. Wanai, show your vision. Yi Wanai nodded and directly showed the vision. Golden Jade marriage. Buzz buzz buzz. The vision surged and enveloped Patriarch Jin. This bit of vision suppression was nothing to Patriarch Jin, and he could break it with a wave of his hand. But Patriarch Jin's face suddenly changed and said, she broke her own limit, and the upper limit of her qualifications has been improved. This is impossible. with her destiny. If there is no great opportunity, the half-step purple mansion will be the end of her life. If she gets a small opportunity, she can enter the lower grade purple mansion. It is absolutely impossible to condense visions and have the qualifications of a top grade purple mansion. You are her great opportunity. You have changed her destiny. Patriarch Jin's face changed, his fingers moved, urging the Plum Blossom Yeshu to perform calculations, and the results of the calculations changed drastically. Wrong. The calculation was wrong. It became unrecognizable. In the calculation of the heavenly secrets, every error represents a variable. The variable is the one that escaped. The variable makes the deduction of the heavenly secrets difficult. The variable makes the world alive. When the heavenly secret master calculates, he must take these variables into consideration as much as possible. The more variables are considered, the more accurate the calculation will be. When Xuanji brought Xuanji to visit, she made a casual calculation and had already considered some variables. The large number of variables still made her deduction completely wrong. She has limited qualifications and limited comprehension, and she can't condense the vision at all. With your help, she condensed the vision. You are the greatest opportunity in her life. Patriarch Jin smiled. Yes, with the condensation of the vision, the probability of achieving a middle grade purple mansion is 5 layers, and the probability of achieving a high grade purple mansion is also 3 layers. In that case, I will open the Pure Yang pool, the Marrow Washing pool, and the Nirvana pool to help you build a top grade foundation. Youngster, thank you, ancestor. Xuanji said. It will take 30 years to build a top grade foundation. Just follow me, Ancestor Jin said with a smile. Half an hour later, Xuanji left alone. Xuanji had been left by Ancestor Jin in Xiang Mountain and began to adjust her state and impact the purple mansion. This Ancestor Jin became very generous, not only opening the Nirvana pool, but also the Pure Yang pool, the Marrow Washing pool, etc. After settling everything, Xuanji also returned to the Lu family and began to close the door to impact the 9th level of foundation building. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 170, 9th level of foundation building. On Changyuan Mountain, the cave was empty, with only Xuanji left. For a moment, there was a slight sense of loss in his heart. After the loss, a glimmer of determination flashed in his eyes. He took out the heaven-swallowing cauldron, took out the spiritual liquid from it and swallowed it, and then practiced the green lotus creation art to refine the spiritual liquid, and a trace of true essence entered his body. After being tempered by the heaven-swallowing cauldron, the true essence became more pure. Time passed, and after 12 years, his cultivation broke through the 9th level of foundation building. After reaching the 9th level of foundation building, he felt a slight barrier, and his cultivation could no longer be improved. He could not accumulate in quantity, but could only undergo a qualitative transformation. Breaking through the purple mansion is the only way out. After 12 years of breakthrough, my aptitude has improved. Xuanji felt himself, and was slightly happy. His aptitude has improved again. This improvement was achieved through taking a weekend break with Xuanji. The immortal way has ways to improve qualifications, but those are undoubtedly precious elixirs and elixirs. The demon way also has ways to improve qualifications, but they are bloody and cruel, and there will be karma and fierce heavenly tribulations. Yin-Yang transformation is divided into 3 levels. The first level is to improve the true essence and magic power. The second level is to improve the soul. The third level is to improve qualifications. Yin-Yang Dragon and Phoenix Art can also improve qualifications, but this method of improving qualifications is quite cruel, and there will be karma. When it comes to impacting the golden elixir, the heavenly tribulation is much more fierce than that of normal cultivators. Most will die in the tribulation. Only a few Heho and demon cultivators can survive the tribulation by chance. This is the price of taking shortcuts. Yin-Yang transformation is different. It has low requirements for qualifications and understanding, and only seeks to be in love, entangled in love, and turn into a mandarin duck and butterfly. This kind of double rest is essentially a complementary advantage. In the double rest, make up for the defects of one's own physique, improve qualifications, and improve the origin. Pure Yang Dao body was originally a top-level Dao body, with a strong origin, and it was extremely difficult to improve it, but under the effect of Yin-Yang transformation, the origin was forcibly improved by one level, and the talent was raised by more than one level. Recalling the mystery of Yin-Yang transformation, Xuanji also admired this old demon He-Huan. It is more difficult to become an immortal in the devil way than in the right way. The difficulty is greater and the disaster is more fierce, but their understanding of the great way and the understanding of the laws of heaven and earth are also extremely terrifying. The road of the devil way has a high upper limit and a low lower limit. Next, we will impact the purple mansion. Xuanji made up his mind. There are 9 difficulties in the purple mansion. The first difficulty is the lifespan. The lifespan of a foundation building cultivator is 240 years, but 200 years is a threshold. After 200 years, the body of the foundation building cultivator will decline, the blood will be exhausted, and the probability of impacting the purple mansion will continue to decrease. If you want to impact the purple mansion, it is best before 200 years old. At this time, he is 150 years old, and there are still 50 years before 200 years old. There is still a lot of time. This was his luck. The second difficulty was the difficulty of the true essence. It was to constantly polish the true essence and purify the true essence. This was a slow process. If you did not take the pure Yang pill, it would take 10 years to purify it to the 9th level, 20 years to purify it to the 8th level, and 50 years to purify it to the 7th level. To impact the purple palace, the minimum standard was to purify the true essence to the 8th level. If the true essence was not refined enough, it would not be enough to break through. Xuanji felt the purity of the true essence in his body, which was already at the 7th level. Not enough. If you demand yourself according to the lowest standard, you will definitely be the weakest. Seeking the best, and getting the middle, seeking the middle, and getting the worst. Xuanji took a deep breath, and continued to polish the true essence. He flipped through Xiaoxu's notes. Xiaoxu had refined her true essence to the 4th level, and he could not be inferior to her. Using his magic power, the heaven-devouring cauldron was getting bigger, and then it was placed on the earth fire. The earth fire was burning, and the spiritual liquid in the cauldron was rolling, about to evaporate, but it was imprisoned by the cauldron, and could not escape. Xuanji jumped into the cauldron. The Bushanding entered the danshan. Crack. The lid of the cauldron was closed, and the underground fire was burning. He urged the Shantung to start smelting, using people as medicine, and began to make pills. Without madness, there is no life. If you want to succeed, how can you succeed without a mad side? If you want to succeed, you must practice peacefully. Staying at home, being timid and afraid of death, is doomed to achieve nothing. At this moment, you have to use the Shantung to temper your own formation essence, just like refining pills, tempering your true essence. The underground fire is burning, the spiritual liquid is boiling, and it will dissipate when it turns into spiritual energy, but it cannot escape under the compression of the cauldron lid. Suddenly, the spiritual pressure in the cauldron is increasing. Using the artificial mode, the concentration of spiritual energy is increasing. The concentration of spiritual energy is increasing. If the concentration of spiritual energy in the outside world is 1, the concentration of spiritual energy in the cauldron can become 10, which is more than 10 times that of the outside world. But it is still not enough, and the moment when the spiritual pressure in the cauldron is increased to 20 times. This is also the limit. If it continues to improve, the heaven-swallowing cauldron will be burst by the spiritual pressure. Xuanji felt a sense of suffocation. His breathing was not smooth, and his body was extremely uncomfortable. As the spiritual pressure increased, Xuanji practiced the exercises. The speed of absorbing spiritual energy increased, and the speed of purifying the true essence also increased. The speed of purifying the true essence increased 5 times faster. After 3 months, it was purified to the 6th level. After 6 months, it was purified to the 5th level. After a year, it was purified to the 4th level. When it was purified to the 4th level, the true essence exuded a faint silver color, like flowing mercury. It continued to purify, but the 4th level seemed to be a threshold, and the next purification was extremely difficult. After 3 years, it was purified to the 3rd level. At this time, the true essence exuded a faint golden color, like flowing gold. At this point, Xuanji felt that he had reached his limit and could no longer purify the true essence, so he could only stop here. Then, he began to open up many meridians in the human body. The human body has 8 extraordinary meridians, 12 regular meridians, and 108 acupoints. After awakening the spiritual roots, a teacher will teach the child for 3 years to identify these meridians and acupoints. When the child opens up these 20 meridians, it is the moment to open up the 108 acupoints and to draw the spiritual energy into the body, which is the first level of key training. After these 20 main meridians, there are 108 small meridians, 1000 tiny meridians, and 100,000 subtle meridians. In addition to the 108 acupoints, there are 365 acupoints, 1000 macro acupoints, and 100,000 dark acupoints. If you want to enter the realm of Purple Mansion, you only need to open up the 108 small meridians and 365 acupoints of the human body. But in this case, after achieving the Purple Mansion, it is only a low-grade Purple Mansion. If the meridians and acupoints opened increase, you will enter the middle-grade Purple Mansion. If you want to become a high-grade Purple Mansion, you must open up all the meridians and acupoints. Is it difficult to open up the acupoints and meridians? Not difficult at all. Children who are 7 or 8 years old and have just embarked on the path of cultivation can open up the acupoints and meridians, not to mention the cultivators who have reached the 9th level of foundation building. It is not difficult, but it is quite tedious and time consuming. According to some estimates, it would take at least 1,000 years for an ordinary cultivator to open up all the acupoints and meridians without the help of elixirs. But the question is, can a cultivator who has established a foundation live for 1,000 years? So there are 2 choices. One is to open up only some of the acupoints and meridians. The fewer the number, the less time it takes, and the lower the difficulty. The other is to take the Pure Yang pill and the Purple Mansion pill as an aid, and use the pills to speed up the speed of opening up the meridians and acupoints. In this process, pills are very important. However, pills are not omnipotent. Pills have elixir poison and drug resistance. The first pill has the best effect, the second pill will have a lower effect, and the third pill will have a lower effect again. By the 4th pill, there is no use at all. When impacting the Purple Mansion, Pure Yang pills and Purple Mansion pills are often used alternately to reduce drug resistance. Even if one takes 3 Pure Yang pills and 3 Purple Yang pills, it can only increase the speed, but cannot guarantee that a top-grade Purple Palace will be forged. Chapter 171, Wind and Fire Disaster. In addition, there are 2 potential factors that can increase the speed of opening up the meridians and acupoints. One is the purity of the true essence, and the other is the strength of the soul. The purer the true essence, the faster the acupoints and meridians can be opened. The stronger the soul, the more subtle the operation and the more sustained the force, the faster the acupoints and meridians can be opened. At the beginning, Xuanji's soul strength was 3 times that of his peers, and now it has increased to 4 times, and the true essence is pure, and it has not reached the 9th level of foundation building, but it has been tempered to the 7th level. These potential advantages made Jin Liaozu look at him with a high regard. Those predecessors of the Lu and Yi families, as well as the female cultivators of the Yi family, looked at him with a high regard. In fact, the Yi family is a big family with a golden elixir sitting in the seat, so there is no need to be humble to please anyone, but it is obvious that they are optimistic about him. Suppressing the impetuousness in his heart, Xuanji began to open up the meridians. The smaller the meridians, the more difficult it is to open them, and the more time it takes. But in front of the pure true essence and the powerful soul, the speed of opening them is accelerating. It took a day to open up 108 small meridians and 365 acupoints. Then there were another 1000 small meridians and 1000 acupoints. They were very subtle and took longer, taking a month to complete. Finally, facing 100,000 subtle meridians and dark acupoints, it took even longer, a full 10 years. 10 years later, Feeling that all the acupoints in the body were open and all the meridians were opened, Xuanji had unspeakable feelings. It's too difficult. If the difficulty is concretized, the difficulty of casting a low-grade purple mansion is 1, the difficulty of casting a medium-grade purple mansion is 5, and the difficulty of forging a high-grade purple mansion is 100. The high-grade purple mansion is too difficult. After resting for a few days, continue to impact the purple mansion. Xuanji sensed it a little and felt that a catastrophe in his body was about to erupt. The Danshan position was hot, as if a flame was about to burn. This was the heavenly fire difficulty. The sea of consciousness position was hot, as if there was wind blowing from the inside. This was the nightmare wind difficulty. The stronger the cultivation, the stronger the catastrophe, and the more fierce the wind and fire catastrophe. Many Xuanji have outstanding talents and are reviled goers, but they fall in the wind and fire catastrophe. On the contrary, some mediocre talents have small catastrophes and can easily survive. When the wind and fire catastrophe comes, it is best to use nirvana pills or nirvana pool. At this moment, it is best to enter the nirvana pool. However, the nirvana pool has been given to Xuanji. The catastrophe is a bit fierce, but fortunately there are 3 blue and 20 grey ones. Xuanji took a deep breath and directly triggered the catastrophe. He didn't think too much, because thinking too much will make Xuanji timid and fearful. But, the next moment, the catastrophe was triggered. Woo woo woo. Nightmare wind, blowing from the sea of consciousness, heavenly fire, burning from the Danshan. The wind and fire catastrophe broke out. Nightmare wind comes from the inner demon of the cultivator. Heavenly fire comes from the backlash of vitality. The stronger the cultivator is, the more spiritual energy he absorbs, and the more terrifying the catastrophe is. At this moment, the catastrophe broke out completely, and the sky fire burned, turning into red lotus flowers, and the blazing flames made the void red. The true essence was ignited, and turned into fuel for the sky fire. The purer the true essence, the more tonic it is for the sky fire, and the more vigorous the flame. The sky fire wrapped around Xuanji's body, and his body withered, his blood withered, and his spirit was ignited. Once the true essence was burned out, and the spirit was burned out, then it would be burned to ashes by the flames. Woo woo woo. At this moment, the black wind in the sea of consciousness was urging, targeting the soul. The soul, under the blowing of the nightmare wind, swayed. Suddenly, Xuanji had all kinds of hallucinations, and he bit the tip of his tongue forcefully to restrain the hallucinations. But the hallucinations still existed, interfering with the operation of the soul. The soul was injured. The nightmare wind drove the sky fire, and the wind and fire mixed together, making the disaster more fierce. The whole cave was filled with flames and black wind. But whether it was the flames or the black wind blowing on the walls of the cave, it was difficult to cause any damage. Disaster, disaster, disaster. It is inevitable. It is inevitable. The heaven and earth nurture all living things. How can all living things repay the heaven and earth? Under the attack of wind and fire, Xuanji felt like his oil was running out, and the lamp was out. His skin was burned dry, his hair was burned, and fell to the ground, and turned into ashes. At this moment, Xuanji took the Bushan key, and his withered body began to have a little vitality. The Bushan key contained a lot of life potential, which was injected into Xuanji's body to repair his injuries. Then, the nightmare wind, and the sky fire burned again. There was a corresponding balance between each other, and life and death were mixed together. On the one hand, the nightmare wind and the sky fire annihilated the vitality. On the other hand, the life energy of the Bushan key replenished the vitality. In his body, life and death were fighting each other. Bushan key was just to keep him alive, to prevent him from dying instantly. It still couldn't help him survive the catastrophe. How can I survive the nightmare wind and the heavenly fire? Xuanji pondered and calculated in his mind. The amount of Bushan key was limited after all. When the Bushan key ran out, it would be the moment of his death. In the face of life and death, Xuanji was a little panicked. In the face of the terror of life and death, he couldn't stay calm. He suppressed his impetuousness and thought about some notes. The heavenly fire nightmare wind will not exist forever. After a period of time, it will dissipate. As long as you survive that period of time, you can survive the catastrophe. There is a great opportunity in the catastrophe, and you can use the catastrophe to temper your soul and refine your true essence. With a calm perception, Xuanji found that, although the nightmare wind blew the soul and hurt it, it also removed the impurities of the soul. The heavenly fire burned the true essence, but it also further purified the true essence. When the true essence was refined to the third level, it had stopped moving forward. But under the burning of the heavenly fire, it was moving towards the second level. Calamity is also destiny. If you can't make it, it's a calamity. If you make it through, it's destiny. So that's it. Xuanji smiled, no longer passively bearing the calamity, but actively inducing the heavenly fire to refine the true essence, and guiding the nightmare wind to refine the soul. Shishi. After 10 breaths, Xuanji took the initiative to cut off the Bushan Qi. Without the suppression of the Bushan Qi, the calamity of wind and fire became fierce. But Xuanji was not panicked at all, but instead practiced the skills, and suddenly a stream of spiritual energy was absorbed into the acupoints, turning into true essence, to make up for the loss of the real body. At the same time, the true essence was running, repairing the injuries on the body. Without the help of Bushan Qi, just relying on absorbing external spiritual energy, the balance of life and death can be maintained. After 49 breaths, the heavenly fire extinguished, the nightmare wind disappeared, and the calamity was past. At this time, the soul was baptized and became more pure. The true essence was purified again, from the third level to the second level. Chapter 172, Origin of the Divine Mountain. As the calamity passed, the whole body was reborn. The body exuded a precious light, like a beautiful jade, and the skin was so delicate that even women were not as good as it. The blood in the body was like magma, emitting heat and vitality. A drop of blood fell on the ground, condensing without dispersing, like liquid mercury. The true essence became more pure, like flowing gold, and the true essence hit the void, and a sonic boom was heard. The area of the Danshan expanded by more than double, and the meridians became more resilient. The area of the sea of consciousness expanded by more than double, and the soul became as bright as a gem, spotless. Not only did the cultivation level improve, the physique became stronger, but also the talent and qualifications were greatly improved. Woo woo woo. At this moment, the vitality of heaven and earth poured down, surging, and entered the body. Within a radius of 10 kilometers, the vitality of heaven and earth was stirred up, evolving into strange phenomena. Xuanji is attacking the Purple Palace. The elder was surprised. The next moment, he activated the formation. The formation of the entire Changyuan mountain started to operate, shielding the strange phenomenon. The fluctuations of the strange phenomenon were suppressed, and it was impossible to feel it from 100 miles away. What was pouring down was not only the vitality of heaven and earth, but also the spiritual inspiration ingrained in heaven and earth. As the vitality poured down, the body was absorbing and transforming rapidly, turning into a trace of true essence. Originally, the true essence in the Danshan was only a shallow layer, but now it was increasing rapidly, and the dry Danshan was gradually filled. After the catastrophe, there must be good fortune. The backflow lasted for 9 breaths and then dissipated. But at this time, Xuanji did not get up, but sat there and closed his eyes. With the body as the center, the laws around him became extremely active. In a trance, he wandered in the void and entered the unity of heaven and man in the dark. The unity of heaven and man, the understanding is improving, and the things that are usually difficult to understand become clear and visible. He first comprehended the heavenly word method, and one word after another, one talisman after another, constantly emerged, and the progress of his comprehension was improving. He had only comprehended more than 7 levels of this great magical power, and was stuck in a bottleneck, and it was difficult to comprehend. But with the state of unity between man and nature, he soon comprehended it to perfection. He also comprehended pure yang heavenly fire, and the progress was also improving, and soon it was perfect. He also comprehended Xuanji heavenly sword, and the difficulty was increasing. When he comprehended it to a small success, the state of unity between man and nature dissipated, and his comprehension was declining. The laws around him seemed to be blocked by fog, and could no longer be seen clearly. What a pity. The state of unity between man and nature only lasted for 9 breaths. Lu Xuanji sighed. The state of unity between man and nature is too wonderful, but it is a pity that it is too short. At this moment, Lu Xuanji felt his body aching, his internal organs were all injured, and his meridians, Danshan, sea of consciousness, etc. were all injured, as if he had experienced a life and death battle. After taking a dose of Bushan Qi, his injuries gradually recovered. Heaven and man are one, so dangerous, I almost lost my Dao. Lu Xuanji sighed, a trace of horror flashed in his eyes. Entering the state of heaven and man are one, the comprehension is increasing, and the understanding of the Dao is clear and visible. Just 9 short breaths save decades of comprehension, but correspondingly, the physical body is also under the pressure of the Dao, and the physical body is seriously injured, and it is almost lost. It is estimated that with his physical body, he can comprehend for 12 breaths at most. If he is still immersed in the state of enlightenment of heaven and man, after comprehending 12 breaths, he may be lost and turned into ashes. Many cultivators need to have close cultivators guarding them when they enter the state of heaven and man and comprehend the Dao, and immediately interrupt the state of heaven and man when they see that the state is not right. These common senses are recorded in books. There are also clear records in Xiaodax's notes. It's a pity that he forgot it during his comprehension. But, at this moment, in a trance, a voice asked, "Why do you cultivate immortality?" "To live." Lu Xuanji blurted out, and answered according to his heart. "Choose to follow the will of heaven, or go against it?" The voice continued to ask, "Follow the will of heaven, and you can get the luck bestowed by heaven. Go against it, heaven will give you disasters." Suddenly, the void was changing, and 2 roads appeared in front. One is the road of following heaven, where heaven will give you corresponding luck. Walking on the road, you will get adventures, caves of predecessors, secret methods of ancient books, the favor of beauties, the favor of nobles, etc. The other is the road of going against heaven, which will turn into black luck, bad luck, constant disasters, people hate ghosts, and constant bad luck. Seeing this scene, many people will choose the road of following heaven. But Lu Xuanji knew that there was a trap hidden in it. Walking on the road of following heaven, every time you get an adventure, there will always be disasters. If you can't bear the disasters, you will go to death. This is called virtue not matching the position. When you embark on the road of going against the heaven, you will inevitably experience disasters every time. If you can't withstand the disaster, you will die. But if you can withstand the disaster will turn into luck and adventure. It seems that the two are different, but in fact they are the same. Whatever. Lu Xuanji replied. "You see it clearly," said the voice. The void changed and appeared in the endless void. In front of the void, there is a huge mountain. The huge mountain is green, and the front is as smooth as a knife. There are names engraved on it. These names are densely packed, like ants. These names are in different colors, 9 colors such as black, white, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, etc. This is the mountain of origin. You will be named on it every time and gain the luck of heaven," said the voice. After speaking, it disappeared. At the same time, Lu Xuanji's sea of consciousness has a memory about the mountain of origin. The mountain of origin, evolved from the origin of this world, is the most important place in this world. The more powerful the world is, the taller the mountain of origin is. Carving your name on the mountain of origin will bring you the blessing of luck in the world. Luck is very important. As the saying goes, when luck comes, the world will be full of power, and when luck is gone, heroes will not be free. Most of the monks who have made great achievements have good luck. Luck is divided into 9 levels according to the level: black, white, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Black luck means negative luck, constant bad luck, and constant disasters. The lower level mortals and Kigan monks mostly have white luck. If a monk sets foot on the foundation building, it can turn into red. If he enters the purple mansion, his luck turns into orange. After becoming a golden elixir, his luck turns into yellow. After becoming a yuanying, his luck turns into green. If he becomes a spirit, his luck turns into cyan. If he enters the refining void, his luck turns into blue. If he enters the Hedao, his luck turns into purple. Of course, luck is not static. It will also be worn away. There will be rising periods and trough periods. turn danger into safety, win a great battle with a powerful enemy, become powerful and prominent, gain precious treasures, be favored by a beautiful woman, and meet a noble person. These are all manifestations of good luck, but they are also experiences that wear out luck and make it decline. Luck can also increase and decrease, and people cannot always have full luck and smooth sailing. When luck is high, everything will go smoothly. When luck is low, you will encounter unexpected disasters, bad luck will follow one after another, and even drinking cold water will get stuck in your teeth. Those top monks will observe the rise and fall of their own luck and decide on their behavior. When luck is high, go out and look for adventures. When luck is low, nourish luck at home. Top powerhouses will all nourish their luck and keep their luck at a relatively high level to prevent their luck from declining and leading to their fall. Chapter 173, Difficult Luck. Leaving your name on the origin mountain will bring you luck. Only purple mansion monks can carve their names on the origin mountain. If a monk dies, his name will disappear from the origin mountain. At the same time, part of the monk's luck will flow back to the origin mountain. Looking at the origin mountain, you want to see the names engraved on it clearly, but there is a layer of fog blocking it, making it difficult to see clearly. Only at the top, there is no fog blocking it. There are 32 names there, domineering and awe-inspiring, located at the top of the origin mountain. Xuanji, Slaughter Demon Emperor, Golden Crow Demon Emperor, Peacock Demon Emperor, Heho an Old Demon, Samsara Taoist, White Bone Demon Lord, and Changsheng Emperor. 32 names, shining through the ages, becoming the masters of the origin mountain. As long as the origin mountain is not destroyed, these 32 names will not disappear. These 32 monks have experienced many disasters and hardships, defeated enemies one by one, tore through the 9-layer immortal disaster, and ascended to immortals. The world is proud of them. Looking at these 32 names, Xuanji suddenly realized that a man had grown up like this. He ascended forward and approached the origin god mountain. He approached the stone wall. A colorful brush appeared on his palm. Swish. On the stone wall, a name was engraved. Xuanji. These 3 words were white at the beginning, but soon turned red, then orange, and the luck changed to yellow, green, and finally fixed at cyan. The luck is cyan. Xuanji nodded, very satisfied. Generally speaking, only the spirit transformation has cyan luck. The luck is cyan, which does not mean that he will definitely become a spirit transformation, but it is more likely. Before entering the spirit transformation, there is no need to worry about the problem of insufficient luck. As for what will happen after the spirit transformation, it is still a long way off. He is only a purple mansion now, so he doesn't need to think about such distant things. The luck of heaven and earth is limited. The luck of this cultivator has more, and the luck of that cultivator will decrease. There is no appointed son of luck in the world. When standing at the peak, he must be the son of luck. In this world, a child of luck is born every 300,000 years, and the child of luck has the possibility of becoming an immortal. The luck of the world rises and falls. When the luck of the world is at its peak, strong people emerge in large numbers, and immortals may be born. When the luck of the world falls into a trough, strong people wither and become scarce. After the Golden Crow Demon Emperor ascended to the immortal world, he consumed the luck of the 7th layer of the world, and the luck of the world fell into a trough. After 200,000 years, the luck of the world is recovering. In the next 100,000 years, a new child of luck will be born, and it is possible to become an immortal. Excuse me, should we start the battle to seize luck? At this moment, a voice came, telling the nature of luck, the nature of the world. Luck is like water. In this world, the amount of luck that can be nurtured within a certain period of time is limited. If this cultivator occupies more luck, that cultivator must have less luck. What to do if the cultivator does not have enough luck? Then defeat and kill the enemy and seize the opponent's luck. If you lose once, your luck will be lost. If you lose too many times, you will become a stepping stone for others, and your luck will be taken away by others. In the dark, those geniuses will collide with each other and fight each other. The scattered luck will continue to gather and gather on a certain cultivator. When the luck condenses to the extreme, the son of luck will be born. The son of luck gathers the great luck of the world and has the possibility of becoming an immortal. The Son of Luck does not refer to a specific person, but refers to a title that corresponds to extraordinary achievements through hard work. This is the birth of countless cultivators and countless geniuses after fighting. Open. Lu Xuan nodded. The 9 difficulties of the Purple Mansion. This is the difficulty of luck. This is a battle for luck. Opponent matching. Matching successful. At this moment, the void is changing, and a lake appears. In the lake, there is a black carp swimming. Splash. The next moment, the black carp jumped out of the lake and turned into a black armored boy. Are you my human calamity? The black armored boy said, exuding a horrible breath. This breath of pressure came like a mountain and sea. Click. Click. Suddenly, Lu Xuanji felt his body being suppressed, and his bones seemed to be broken. Giant and Demon King. This boy is a Giant and Demon King, still at the peak of the Giant and stage, and is about to break through the Yuanying stage. When a cultivator breaks through the Yuanying stage, he needs to pass the Thunder Calamity, the Heavenly Demon Calamity, and the Human Calamity. In the dark, under the guidance of fate, Lu Xuanji turned into the Human Calamity of this Giant and Demon King. Haha, God treats me well. Under the guidance of fate, he actually brought me a young man from the Purple Mansion. It seems that this calamity is not difficult to pass. The black armored boy laughed and breathed a sigh of relief. Among the 3 calamities, the Thunder Calamity, the Heavenly Demon Calamity, etc., can all be roughly estimated in power, and there are targeted methods. But the Human Calamity, however, cannot be guessed. Looking at this Human Calamity in front of him, he breathed a sigh of relief. Swish. At this moment, an invisible shackle appeared, and the aura of the black armored boy continued to drop, from the peak of the Golden Core to the early stage of the Purple Mansion. All the forbidden tools on his body could not be used. Only his life magic weapon could be used. But the power of his life magic weapon was also sealed, and it was only kept at the 3rd grade spiritual weapon. But he was not worried. Although he was suppressed to the early stage of the Purple Mansion, the combat skills of the peak of the Golden Core, as well as the understanding of the Great Dao, etc., did not disappear at all. This battle seemed to be a fair duel between both parties in the early stage of the Purple Mansion, but in essence, it was not fair at all. Sir, in which realm? Lu Xuanji asked. The black armored boy was about to speak, but an unparalleled power in the dark prevented him from speaking, and he could only say, don't say. End the battle as soon as possible, and go back as soon as possible. Vision. Black moon. A black moon appeared behind the black armored boy and rose slowly. Suddenly, the surrounding void was imprisoned. Lu Xuanji felt like he was carrying a mountain on his back, and his speed was slowed by 3 levels. Swish. An axe appeared in the hands of the black armored boy, with blood on it, and it chopped towards his neck in midair. One axe to take off my head. Lu Xuanji drew out the Lihuo sword, and turned into a stream of light to kill him. Bang. The weapons collided with each other, and the black armored boy changed his position, and his body moved with the axe, slashing towards Lu Xuanji's waist. Lu Xuanji's body first moved to the left, and the Lihuo sword stabbed towards his neck. But at this moment, the axe moved, and instantly appeared on his right arm, slashing towards his right arm. Swish. Both sides changed their moves at the same time, and the axe and sword collided with each other. The Lihuo sword was cut off on the spot. Your swordsmanship is too poor, just a pretentiousness, it's time to end it. After the black armored boy experienced the test, he no longer held back, and urged the black moon to cover it down. The black light scattered down, and covered Lu Xuanji's body. His body was instantly imprisoned, and it was difficult to move at all. The axe chopped down from the air, aiming for his head. Death was imminent. Chapter 174, 9 Transformations of Fish and Dragon. Between life and death, Lu Xuanji burst out, his body moved to a position, and his neck, that was about to be chopped off, was avoided, but his right arm was cut off on the spot. Snap. It fell to the ground with a crisp sound. Intense pain came. Lu Xuanji groaned, and flashed 10 steps away. The suppression of the strange phenomenon is the most powerful within 10 steps. 10 steps away, the suppression still exists, but it is much smaller. Is this my human calamity? The combat power is too poor. Swordsmanship, a mess. Flashy. The timing of the battle is too bad. It can't be a flower grown in a greenhouse. This ability has become my human calamity. It's just that God deliberately let me off," the black armored boy said, with disdain and a hint of loss in his words. The opponent's weakness seemed to be a little beyond his expectations. But it's good this way. Kill the enemy quickly, end this battle, and prove the Yuanying as soon as possible. Only the Yuanying can be considered the number one strong. Swish. The black armored boy stepped forward steadily, killing with one step, his footsteps flashing, and his speed was extremely fast. The axe in his hand flipped and kept slashing. The axe itself is a blunt weapon, fierce but not flexible enough. But in the hands of the black armored boy, it kept rolling and slashing up and down, fierce and flexible, and his skills were amazing. The black sun above his head flashed, and black rays of light fell down, dominating control and suppression. Xuanji's footsteps flashed, and after retreating 9 steps in a row, he stopped retreating. Because his momentum was falling. He was falling into the enemy's rhythm, like a fish caught in a fishing net. The more he struggled, the more powerless he was, and finally he would die. Xuanji Xiandao, cut. At this moment, on Xuanji's palm, Xuanji runes were jumping and arranging and combining. 99 runes combined together, and turned into a long sword, slashing in the air. One sword breaks all laws. Abandoning any skills, there is only one fatal knife. What a fast knife. A trace of surprise flashed in the eyes of the black armored boy, and he urged the axe to meet it. Swish, swish. Amid the harsh sound, a huge gap appeared on the axe. The Xuanji heavenly sword changed, moved from another angle, and chopped towards the neck of the black armored boy. The black armored boy moved his body and avoided the vital point, but the Xuanji heavenly sword chopped the black armored boy's chest and collided with the black armor. The black armor was cut open. Tick, tick. A stream of blood fell, and a trace of surprise flashed in the eyes of the black armored boy. He was injured for the first time during the battle. The black armored boy did not retreat but advanced, and the axe changed and chopped towards Xuanji's neck again. Xuanji also stepped forward, and the Xuanji heavenly sword chopped towards the neck of the black armored boy, looking like they would die together. He knew that he was much worse than the black armored boy in terms of fighting skills. Since that was the case, there was no need to compete. The black armored boy frowned slightly and urged the black moon to press down. The black light formed a confinement force. Pure Yang Sun. At this moment, Xuanji exploded, and the strange phenomenon appeared for the first time, attacking. After going through many disasters in a row, he awakened the strange phenomenon, Pure Yang Sun, but he had no idea how powerful the strange phenomenon was, so he could only win by surprise. If he didn't explode, it would be fine. Once he exploded, he would give a fatal blow. He urged, Pure Yang Sun, and hit Black Sun, as if they were going to die together. Bang. A red and white sun, a black sun, the two suns collided with each other, annihilating each other and cancelling each other out. Puff. The black armored boy vomited blood from his mouth, but he didn't retreat at all. He chopped the Xuanji Xiandao with an axe, and pressed it down with great force. Xuanji took a deep breath, stepped back, and moved forward, and also pressed down with all his strength, advancing without retreating. Boom boom boom. In the violent collision, the pure Yang Sun dissipated, and the black sun also dissipated. Swish. With a violent sound, the axe was cut off by the Xuanji heavenly sword. It chopped on the body of the black armored boy, and a bloody wound appeared. With a sizzle, a stream of destructive power eroded the flesh. What kind of magical power is this? The black armored boy said in horror. This is a magical power to kill people. Xuanji took a deep breath, and the Bushan furnace in his dungeon started to operate. A stream of Bushan Qi entered his body and repaired his injuries. The body that had been severely injured was healing quickly at a speed visible to the naked eye. At this moment, the broken arm that fell on the ground automatically flew up and returned to the body. With the operation of Bushan Qi, the broken arm and the body merged perfectly. Swish. He urged the Xuanji heavenly sword to continue slashing and killing. Swish. One knife after another, advancing without retreating, attacking without defending. Just avoid some vital points, and the rest is to attack. As for the injuries on his body, as long as the Qi Bushan Qi is not exhausted, he is immortal. Unless the enemy is so strong that he can kill him in one move, it is difficult to kill him. The black armored boy changed to an axe, and chopped and killed continuously. He has reached the pinnacle of skills. As for the enemy on the opposite side, his fighting skills are almost scum. However, he has the demeanor of a desperate man. He attacks desperately and attacks with extreme sharpness. What he wants is to exchange injuries for injuries. Relying on excellent fighting skills, he can leave 3 scars on Xuanji by exchanging injuries for injuries, while Xuanji can only leave 1 scar on him. Injury for injury, Xuanji will have more injuries after all. In the end, it was Xuanji who couldn't hold on. But soon, the black armored boy found that the injuries on Xuanji's body were healing rapidly, and the healing speed was so fast that it exceeded his imagination. Could it be that this person has a Phoenix body, which is full of vitality and can repair injuries quickly, or the Green Emperor body, which has amazing recovery ability, or the Immortal Demon body, which has terrifying healing ability? The black armored boy was horrified. Boom boom boom. After a continuous battle, after thousands of moves, he was the first to be unable to hold on. The injuries on his body were increasing. If this continued, he would be the first to lose. You are very powerful, but it's time to end it. The supreme magical power. 9 transformations of fish and dragon. The black armored boy's body flashed with black light, and his body split apart and turned into 9 giant beasts, including Kunpeng, Kinglong, Teoti, Teiyangzaz Heo, Teinyao, Kyanki, Teo Wu, and Hundun. Each giant beast is different, but the same is that they emit dark light. Each giant beast is in the early stage of Zifu, and its combat power is not inferior to that of the black armored boy. Carp are weak, so all carp want to turn into dragons, but there is an ancestor who never turns into a dragon, and always keeps the body of a carp, ascends to become an immortal, and even leaves the blood secret technique, 9 transformations of fish and dragon, to his descendants, which can evolve into 9 clones. With this supreme magical power, it should be enough to send you back to the abyss. At this time, the voice of the black armored boy came, with arrogance in his tone. There was also a hint of determination. With only the purple mansion cultivation, controlling the supreme magical power, with his true energy strength, he can only maintain 2 breaths. After 2 breaths, the 9 incarnations will dissipate. But it is enough to send out a killing, and kill the enemy. So strong. Xuanji felt death, but there was a hint of excitement in his eyes. Then let's decide the outcome with 1 strike. The Bushanding appeared, and the Tunshanding appeared. The Bushanding is the Yangding, and the Tunshanding is the Yinding. At this moment, the 2 large tripods surround each other, attracting each other, and operating each other. It's like 2 yin and yang fish, swimming. The place where Xuanji stood was on the yin and yang cutting line. This is a yin-yang attack, fellow Daoist, please appreciate it. He hit the heaven-devouring cauldron with both hands, and all his true essence was injected into the heaven-devouring cauldron. The cauldron suddenly shone brightly, and the brilliant power flowed into the heaven-building cauldron, and then into the heaven-devouring cauldron. After 3 rounds of circulation, it turned into a white light and blasted out. On the basis of the original, the attack was amplified by 4 times. At this moment, the black armored boy urged the 9 transformations of fish and dragon, and the 9 clones attacked at the same time. 4 times the amplification vs 9 clones. Boom boom boom. The light of destruction drowned everything, and turned into eternal silence. Chapter 175. The battle to seize luck, finally becoming the Purple Palace. When all the light faded, there were 2 broken bodies on the ground. I don't know how long it took. About 3 days later, a body on the ground floated, struggled, and sat up. He wanted to move, but he didn't have the strength to move. Beside him, the Bushanding was torn into 8 pieces, and the Tunshanding was also broken into 5 pieces. His body was in severe pain, as if it was about to be torn apart. He spit out a mouthful of blood, and looked at the opposite side, with a complex look in his eyes. The last blow, both sides were injured. They almost died together. Fortunately, the last Bushanki saved his life. He didn't take his last breath, and came back to life. At this moment, a green air flew out from the body of the black armored boy, and merged into the top of Xuanji's head. In the battle for luck, the black armored boy died, and his luck also belonged to Xuanji. But Suddenly, Lu Xuanji's luck became stronger, and the green luck was surrounded by a hint of blue, and was transforming into blue luck. Successful in seizing luck. Give me the art of hiding luck at this moment. A voice came, and there was also a technique. The art of hiding luck. Hide your own luck, and avoid danger. Lu Xuanji sensed the technique, which was quite rough. After 3 days of comprehending it, he began to learn it. As the technique was running, the green luck above his head was falling and turned green. It continued to fall and turned yellow. Finally, it fell to orange. The luck of most purple mansion cultivators is orange. At this time, Lu Xuanji's luck was also orange, which looked very ordinary. But at the core of the orange luck, there was a wisp of purple luck. It was just that this wisp of purple luck was wrapped and blocked by the orange luck, and it was difficult for outsiders to detect it. My luck is hidden, Lu Xuanji said in surprise, and he breathed a sigh of relief. As the saying goes, things will turn around when they reach their extremes. Sometimes, if your luck is too good, it will attract the jealousy and calculations of some powerful people, and you will die in a disaster. Properly hiding your own luck and turning it into an ordinary one can avoid some disasters. At this time, the luck is hidden and transformed into the luck of ordinary cultivators. It is not too outstanding, which also means safety. At this time, the voice came again. The 12th difficulty of a purple mansion is called the cause and effect difficulty. The cause and effect difficulty is the calamity of the future. The heaven and earth nurture all living beings. How can all living beings repay the heaven and earth? If you succeed in cultivation in the future, you should protect this world. If you become an immortal, you should give back to this world. Are you willing? Yes. Lu Xuanji nodded. The world gave birth to the way of heaven. The way of heaven is ruthless, but it is not without desire. Under the subconscious of the world, it will cultivate many cultivators, sons of luck, immortals, etc., to protect this world and strengthen this world. The cause and effect difficulty is to promise to the way of heaven to protect this world and strengthen this world. If this world is destroyed, the cultivator's heart will be covered with dust, and it will be difficult to achieve the great way. This is a calamity of the future, and some cultivators may never encounter it in their lifetime. Later, the scenery around was changing, and they had returned to the cave. The aura on Lu Xuanji's body was changing, and he had entered the realm of the purple mansion. After countless years, many disasters, and 12 tribulations, he finally achieved the purple mansion. Counting with his fingers, he was already 183 years old. With the advancement to the purple mansion, his lifespan increased to 480 years, which means he still has 300 years to live, and he has a long time to enjoy. When he walked out of the cave, he happened to meet the Great Elder. Seeing Lu Xuanji step into the purple mansion, he said 3 times in a row, then laughed, and then burst into tears. Like crazy. In the family, other cultivators were also happy, as if it was New Year's Day. The Lu family gave birth to the second purple mansion, which was of great significance. This means that the situation of the Lu family is more stable. The whole family celebrated and rejoiced, but Lu Xuanji was empty in his heart. He left here directly and went to Xiang Mountain. When he arrived at Xiang Mountain, he met the Jin Patriarch again. Ancestor Jin was surprised and said, "You have entered the purple mansion realm. Are you kidding me? You will have a weak foundation. When you reach the purple mansion realm, you will have to pay a huge price to make up for it. No, you are a top grade purple mansion. Just luck. I entered the purple mansion by luck," Lu Xuanji said calmly. "You are very good." Ancestor Jin said. "Wan Yi, has she come out of retreat?" Lu Xuanji asked. "Not that fast. Her aptitude is not as good as yours, so she can only spend more time to purify her true ki, open up the acupoints and meridians. These are all slow and grinding work, and it will take at least 50 years. Ancestor Jin said, 30 years have just passed, and it will take another 20 years to come out of retreat. 50 years, that's a long time. Lu Xuanji said. This 30 years of retreat felt a bit long. If you want to impact the upper grade purple palace, you have to polish your true essence to the 6th level. Without taking elixirs, it takes 180 years. If you open up all the acupoints and meridians in your body, it takes 1000 years without taking elixirs. Jin Liaozu said, if you take pure yang pills, purple palace pills, nirvana pills, etc. It will also take 200 years. With the help of pure yang pool, marrow washing pool, nirvana pool, etc. the time can be shortened to 100 years. In Miziang Mountain, you have to enter the 9th level of foundation building before the age of 130 to forge your upper grade purple palace. After 130 years old, you can only forge a lower grade or middle grade purple palace. Originally, Yuan could only condense a middle grade purple palace, but because she awakened a vision in front of the purple palace, she had a chance to forge an upper grade purple palace, which would also take 50 years. Thank you, ancestor. Xuanji said gratefully. I calculated that you need at least 70 years to enter the purple palace, but now it only takes 30 years. Is the time wrong? Jin Liaozu thought about it and found that he had calculated wrong and there was a deviation in the middle. I'm very special, Xuanji said. True essence, how many layers have you tempered? Jin Liaozu asked casually, but he had a comparison in his heart. Geniuses always like to compare. Tempered to the 3rd layer. Tempered to the 3rd layer. Not as good as me, Jin Liaozu said, but he couldn't say anything more. At the beginning, she tempered to the 5th layer, which was a miracle. This was still under the blessing of immortal sword body. Without this, it would be at most 6 layers. After reaching the 5th layer, she tried to go further, but gave up. Because she reached the limit, tempered for another 100 years, or 1000 years, and still 3 layers. Not bad. Jin Liaozu asked, how many years did it take to open up the meridians in the body? 10 years and 3 months. Xuanji said. Impossible. It took me 20 years, and this was with the help of the 5th grade formation. Jin Liaozu questioned. 10 years. It's impossible. Why is it impossible? Xuanji said. I have my own way. The way is to increase the spiritual pressure and create a small fairyland. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.